We're going to call to order, and this is the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Finance Authority, regular session meeting, 6:30. Please call to order.
Mayor Pacheco,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobar is absent, Councilmember Hodge,
Here.
Councilmember Real is absent, Councilmember Hurtado.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Figueroa, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
Mission statement, Mr. Dale.
City of Calexico mission statement.
Together, we pledge to provide effective and efficient services in a courteous and respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico.
You can remain standing for Pastor Sasueta, Christ Community Church.
Amen. Let's bow our heads just for a minute to pray. Father in heaven, first of all, we thank you for this beautiful evening, God, that you have blessed us with, Lord. And God, we wanted to give you thanks, God, for the opportunity that most of us had to spend Thanksgiving with our families. And God, have food on our tables, a roof over our heads. Truly, you're a God that makes provisions for his people. And for that tonight, we want to give you thanks. And we want to acknowledge you, God, as God, creator of heaven and earth. And God, as your people meet here tonight, Lord God, the citizens of Calexico and those who would govern this city, Lord, we pray blessings upon this meeting tonight. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Since we had no closed session, we'll move on to approval of the agenda and with
Motion for its
announcement.
approval? Motion for its approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, I think we're going to want to move up the public hearing items number 14 and 15 until after the consent agenda. Since we have a lot of folks in the audience here, I think it'd make sense to move that up. So,
Move it up.
Okay,
You saying you want to move item 14 before item 9
but let's approve the consent agenda first.
with those changes?
the public hearing items number 14 and number 15 after the consent calendar. Correct.
Consent agenda approval, items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Oh, okay, that's what.
Is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
We did that, don't we?
No, we haven't. Because that's why
We're going to approve the agenda first. Mr. Campos?
Correct, with the
Okay, a
modification.
motion then for its approval by also changing the position of the public hearing item 14 to appear after consent agenda and before the discussion of item 9. Is that correct?
And
So
then
moved.
that would be item number 14 and number 15. So
Okay, so I motion for that?
Okay, I'll make that motion.
No, second?
Yeah, second.
All those in favor of accepting?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Pass. We're going to move to the public hearing portion.
No, actually, now you can do consent agenda.
And anybody speaking on the consent agenda? Anybody on consent? Mr. Campos, do we take public comments now on the public hearing?
I think we would, yes.
Would-
We-
okay. Well, that's what it's for.
Norma Sierra Galindo.
Gabby, do you maybe want to announce the public comment and 3 minutes? What we have in.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, honorable council members, and members of the audience. My name is Norma Sierra Galindo, and I would just like to let the city council know and the city administration that this past week, the Imperial Irrigation District has approved and held and approved the rate hearings for the installation of LED lights in the outlying communities in the county. And I know that I work in Calexico, and at this time of the year, it gets dark so early, and there are so many street lights that are out that I know you probably do not have the manpower to take care of them all. But I think that it behooves the administration at this time to start looking at replacing the old lights with the new LED lights that are going to be not only more energy effective, but have proven already to be so, but also will be more economical in the long run. So I would like to urge your administration to please contact the Energy Department with regards to this as you do your planning for the year 2019. Thank you kindly for your attention.
This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you when you come to the microphone. Please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is on the consent item, please comment now. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Eva Ramos.
Just want to clarify, this is a public comment section of the agenda. If folks are here to speak on the water and sewer rate adjustment item, that'll be a little further down the agenda. So this is for items that are not on the agenda. I want to clarify that.
Or optional, isn't it? It's optional.
Or anything.
It's optional.
John Kim.
Good evening, council members and ladies and gentlemen. And I'm glad I seen the Democrat here. We have a lot of people concerned here to say their interest, and they're gonna fight for their interest. And we're gonna find tonight how is our city council member making decision for citizens or consultant and their friends. You're gonna see tonight. And also, we have a city mission statement. They have a word, but there's no action. I don't think nobody is gonna understand, and nobody gonna feel we have that meaning is. Our life has been disqualified by the cities. Cities not happy. This is one of the issues of today. And also, don't misunderstand not only water rate. They have 3 items, number 16, 17, 14, 15, 16, 17, all related. Because 3 items that are making $40.3 million debt. How much are we gonna get? $27 million only. We're going to pay $74 million payment in 30 years. And there are big scam in here. So please, see our council member, what they're making decision for us or for their friends. Even consultant changing the number around, sharpening number around to easing for us. For me to take time to chasing all of their numbers. So their numbers, for their benefit, not our benefit. So please, don't leave until finish the agenda 17. Thank you.
Ricardo Servín. Caldi.
Hello, my name is Ricardo Servin. I live in 818 Avenue in Calexico. There's been a lot of complaints with cats. One of my areas I had like problems with cats. Just today I had one of the cats in my house. I had my family, they're allergic to cats. I talked to the city manager already. He's going to take care of that problem with me. I talked about it into the city already. Thank you to my city manager. With that talk, we talk about a little while ago. These other cats, they don't have a home. When you see food at my house, there's a lot of pigeons. That's what they call them to stay in my house. We don't want to kill cats or nothing, but they need a home to be taking care of them cats. That's all I need to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Servin. No more for comments. Okay. Okay. We're going to change the order and do the public hearing now. So we're going to open up this public
Mr. Mayor,
hearing.
we're still on the city council comments and reports of attendance. And then-
Where's that one? I'm sorry.
Yes, we're in the section of the agenda after the public comments and public appearances. We have city council comments and reports of meetings attended.
So he wants to do that first and then public.
Anybody have anything to say? Mr. Hodge?
I can
Public
start.
comments?
I can start, Mayor.
Okay.
Okay. Just wanted to notify that on Saturday at the Calexico Community Center, the Lions Club is going to be having an event that's going to be providing eye exams and free reading glasses and glasses, regular glasses for anyone, children, adults, any age. They're not going to ask you for any proof of income. I'm going to say this in Spanish again too. So that's going to be at the community center this Saturday. It is completely free by the Lions Center. Lions group of ladies here in Calexico are very active. It's going to happen also on Sunday. So Saturday it's from 8 in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the community center. And on Sunday, I believe it's from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. En español. El sábado va a haber un evento en nuestro centro de la comunidad, Community Center, por la calle Dual. Y es un evento donde va a proporcionar el Club de Leones, exámenes y entrega de lentes gratis a cualquier persona de cualquier edad. Y estas personas que van a proporcionar este servicio es completamente gratis, no se van a fijar en sus ingresos y tampoco le van a pedir en dónde viven. Entonces se van a llevar a cabo los 2 diferentes días, sábado de las 8 de la mañana hasta las 4 de la tarde y el domingo de las 8 de la mañana hasta las 10 de la mañana. ¿Verdad, Javier? Ahí vamos a estar nosotros apoyando porque es un evento muy importante, muy bueno para todo el mundo. Las primeras 800 personas son los que reciben los lentes gratis. Ese es el primer evento. Second event that I'd like to talk to you all about is something really important, especially today with everything that's going on in our world, is that next Thursday night we will be celebrating our Farm Worker Appreciation Breakfast. The Farm Worker Appreciation Breakfast, I believe, serves about 3,000, I believe, farm workers that come through Calexico every day. They are fed a tamale breakfast and are provided a lot of information and resources. So that, if you'd like to help us and join us to give respect to our farm laborers that are going through so much right now, and if that border closes, they're not going to have a job. So I think it's really important that we support them this year, and you're welcome to join us from 1 o'clock in the morning, I think, or what time do you show up? 1 o'clock in the morning until 7 in the morning. I usually stay till 7. Me quedo platicando, hacen muchas cosas muy bonitas, les dan de comer. Ahora en español, la semana que viene, el jueves, va a haber el reconocimiento de nuestros trabajadores del campo. Es una celebración anual que ahorita creo que debemos de darle mucho respeto a nuestros trabajadores, siendo, creo que está pasando, ¿verdad? Que en realidad a todo mundo, si nos cierran nuestra garita, todos pierden el trabajo, ¿verdad? Pero pues hay que reconocer también lo importante del trabajo del campesino, y eso se va a hacer entonces el jueves de las 12 de la noche hasta whatever, lo que aguanten en la mañana. Se les da una comida de tamales, se les da información, mucha información, y pues un poquito de baile. Así es de que los que quieran acompañarnos ese día, va a ser eso en las oficinas afuera del estacionamiento, las oficinas del desempleo aquí en Calexico, que está aquí cerquitas, ¿no? Por la Jiba. Ya. Entonces, muchas cosas que están pasando aquí en Calexico, aparte de este tipo de trabajo que tenemos que hacer, que nos traiga a todos ustedes, pero muchas gracias por participar. Estas situaciones de nuestra ciudad no dejan de ser difíciles, pero en realidad, en lo personal, yo aprecio mucho lo que es el de que ustedes estén aquí y que participen en su gobierno. Muchas gracias. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hodge.
Yes. In any business or even in personal affairs, one must be able to see and understand the big picture. Maybe not with all its detail, but you have to have a comprehensive understanding and overall. So I'm directing my attention to Mr. Figueroa and Mr. Dale. I have come up with, and this can be improved, what we call an action plan at a glance. Because there's lots of areas that, and it's not micromanaging, but I feel that City Council should at least have a superficial overview of what's going on. So if you draw your attention to this graphic organizer, what I've done is it's divided into subject, current status, immediate objectives, future goals, and a timeline. Now, I just put down as examples here, but they can be anything that you feel that is a priority that we must be informed on. For instance, the Grand Plaza, what's its current status? What's the immediate objectives on the Grand Plaza? What's the future goal, and what's a timeline? Any economic projects that you have going, they can be identified, parks, the new river, and so forth. So I strongly recommend that we adopt this. I would like to see this graphic organizer given to us on paper about once a month at least. Okay? Thank you.
I had a chance to walk downtown with the parade committee, and I'm noticing that the merchants are putting their wares outside the sidewalk, and it's like two deep, two aisles deep or two boxes deep, and it makes it kind of difficult to walk on the sidewalks. The chief and I kind of looked at some of the stores that were doing that. He says, no, this is out of compliance really, because if we needed to get here inside this building in a hurry, we would be derailed a little bit because of what's outside. We don't mind it being outside, but make it accessible to entrance into their storefront or their store, because of the Christmas season, and people want to make sure we get sales. We want to make sure that the owner of the store gets his merchandise out, but then we have to be safe and make sure that it's safe for everybody. That was just one item that just popped up. So it's going to be Christmas season, and we don't want people tripping and getting hurt and getting the ambulance out there because somebody tripped and had a fall. That's all I had. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, like you should invite everybody tomorrow to the Christmas lighting, pre-Christmas lighting.
Well, we've got, thank you. We're having tomorrow, 5:30, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
We're going to offer a tree lighting, and we're going to have gifts for students and children. So we're going to give regalos gratis. Okay? Afuera a las 5:30 tenemos unas rifas para los niños. Santa Claus va a llegar. So get ready for that visit. Y es mañana a las 5:30. Tree lighting. Mr. Dale,
Not for me, Mayor. That was
Santa
bad.
Claus is going to be here, Mr. Mayor?
any comments, Mr. Dale?
And the parade, you wanna go ahead and mention the
Go ahead.
December 8th.
Yeah.
The Christmas parade will be December 8th. We have a great parade that's going to be led by our illustrious mayor here, and he's doing a great job. Got a lot of donations, so it's not going to cost the city a dime for the parade, and also for the tree lighting. We got lots of donations, so good job, sir.
Theme is Songs of the Holidays.
Mr. Figueroa, any items for any comments? No? Okay. Now we get to open up the public hearing. The consent agenda was already approved? We did consent agenda. I'm being reminded that we need to go through the consent agenda? Okay, we're going to approve the consent items.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. Now, we're going to jump a little and go down to item number 14 and have the public hearing now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, we're going to, at this time, hear item number 14 and 15. I understand Mr. Real's here. If we could have him on the dais here.
Gabby. Is Mr.
Councilman Real.
Is Mr. Wildan here?
Councilman Real, please come forward. Councilman Real, please come forward.
He's right there.
We have a presentation about this topic.
Yes, we'll start with the presentation.
We'll
We need
start with
Mr.
that?
We need the Councilman Real here. We'll start.
Waiting for Council Member Real.
He's gonna shine.
Maybe he was in the bathroom.
No, he's right out there.
Está haciendo el rogar. Is this a new presentation or? Yeah.
He'll be in a few minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I think since this is a public hearing item, we would need to have the entire, if a council member is going to participate in the item, we would need to be part of the entire item.
So we need to wait.
Either that, correct. And if it needs maybe additional time, we can maybe move down to item number 9, continue until we have the entire council members here.
Unless he doesn't want to participate.
Number 9.
In lieu of waiting,
We could, if, yeah, and if we could.
Oh my God. Ay, ay, ay.
we needed your presence to continue with the hearing, Mr. Real. That's why you were in the house.
Just talking to some concerned citizens outside.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Mr. Wildan.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Kevin Burnett with Wildan Financial Services. I've got my colleague, Chris Fisher, is going to be running the computer for me tonight. We've been before you a couple of times already. We wanted to give you an update of where things are at for the water and sewer rate study. So what we want to go through tonight is review the purpose and the process of the study, the summary of the proposed revenue increases, the proposed rates, the rate comparisons, and then the next steps. So the purpose of the rate study is to ensure the utility is meeting its annual costs, provide funding for capital projects, provide funds for the repayment of bonds. You do have some outstanding bonds that need to be repaid right now. Develop rates that are equitable, and closely tied to that is ensuring that your rates are in compliance with Proposition 218. So we were before you earlier this summer, and we had a proposed rate plan at that point in time. Based on council direction, we went back to work with the city, reviewed our assumptions, took a look at the data again, and came back to you earlier this fall with revised rates and proposed new rates. So we got council direction at that last meeting. We presented two different options for the water side, two different options for the sewer side. We got council's direction at that point in time. So we moved ahead with preparing and mailing the Prop 218 notices per the Prop 218 process. So today we're at the point where we're going to hold the public hearing on the new rates with the intent of having new rates effective January 1 of 2019. So we'll start with the water financial plan first. So why are we proposing to generate increased revenue on the water side? Right now, the water utility isn't meeting its annual costs. It's losing money on an annual basis. The operating costs are increasing, and without added revenue or new bond funding, the water utility will continue to lose money. Right now, the water utility is losing about $2 million a year on average, based on the operating costs and the capital needs. The cash reserves will be depleted. You need to have reserves in place in case of emergency. So they'll be depleted, and critical capital projects need to be completed, and without the additional funding, you can't fund those projects. So this was the direction that we got from council last time. They liked the even 2%, 2%, 2%, 2%, beginning in 1920. So there's no rate increase proposed, no revenue increase proposed for this current year. The first revenue increase would occur July 1 of 2019. So moving into the proposed rates. So we made some changes to the water rate structure to make sure that we met compliance with Prop 218 requirements. So right now, your monthly base charge includes an allotment of water. Whether or not you use that water, you're paying for it. So what we've done is we've changed it to a base charge that does not include any water use. So now customers will pay for all water that they use. So if you use 1 unit of water, you pay for 1 unit of water. If you use 5 units of water, you pay for 5 units of water. And the new rates, as I said, will be for water used. The other change that we made is on the non-residential side. Right now, currently, the non-residential customers pay the same base charge. If you've got a 1-inch meter, you pay the same base charge as if you have an 8-inch meter. An 8-inch meter can put a lot more water through it. It places much higher demand on the system than a 1-inch meter does. So under the new rate structure, an 8-inch meter will be charged a higher base charge every month to reflect the fact that they place greater demand on the system. Because we're not including any water use in the base charge anymore, the base charge is proposed to go down. So you can see from the current $43.89 for a single family unit is going to go down to $17.24 starting January 1. And then you can see on the non-residential side there too, where the charge increases based on the size of the meter going forward. So then right now we've got, because we're charging for all water use instead of water use above the minimum, the residential water rate will actually go down from $2.22 currently per unit to $1.99 per unit. And then we've got the commercial and construction water uses is proposed to go up. So this is looking at a single family residential bill. So what the bill you would pay at different water unit levels from 5 units up to 20 units. If we go to the next slide, we can see this graphically.
Sorry,
Yeah.
can you go back to the last slide?
Yeah.
30 units is what the people are given
Currently,
now.
you're getting 30 units included.
You can
in
use
your
up to
base.
30 units for $43.89.
Correct.
Basically, it's not up there. So okay.
Right.
But it's not 222. If you divide 4380 on 30 units, it's not 222.
30 units would be roughly what? It's like 75. I mean, if we do the math, I guess.
More like 140.
Okay.
your current volume rate is $2.22 for use above 30 units.
Yeah, but you're not. But you're not paying the 17. You're not paying the $17 now. So the price went down to $1.99, but it is now you're gonna pay a $17 surcharge, basically. Correct? I'm just trying to make sure that it's clear. Sure. Okay. Thank you.
We need to let the presenter present, and then we can ask questions, and then he can answer. Sí, por favor, deja que termine y después le preguntamos. But we'll need to ask him to not be misleading. Thank you.
So then looking at it graphically, so the break-even point between the current rate structure and the proposed rate structure for a single-family home is about 13 units. It's in between 13 and 14 units. So right now, a single-family home using less than 13 units would see a decrease in their bill. A single-family home using more than 13 units would see an increase in their bill. We had the comparison to the neighbors last time we met. One of the questions that council asked last time was, can we show a comparison of what the rates would be at 2023? So as we looked at the other communities that we were comparing to, only El Centro didn't have rates going beyond what they currently are. Everybody else had rate projections in place to increase their rates. So we've added those rates to this slide so you can see where Calexico is current, proposed in 2023, and where your neighbors are today and where they're proposed to be in 2023. So moving into the sewer financial plan, it's a similar story on the sewer side as it is on the water side. The sewer utility is spending more money than it's taking in on an annual basis. On the sewer side, that's largely being driven by some very large capital projects in the next few years. Cash reserves are being used up. The additional revenue is needed to meet costs and operate the system, provide funding for capital projects, and making sure you have that cash reserve available for emergencies. Again, council preferred the smoothing 2% option on the sewer side, so we're recommending 2% rate increases for 2019-20 through 2022-23. The only change that we're making to the sewer rate structure is if you're a residential customer with more than one unit, the additional dwelling unit is going to be charged at a lower rate. Currently, they're all charged at the same rate, so this is to maintain consistency with what's being done on the water side. And then you've got the proposed rates there. So we're not proposing any changes to the rates themselves for 2018-19, with the exception of the monthly charge for the additional unit on residential customers is going to decrease from where it is today. And then the 2% will kick in starting July 1 of 2019. And then we've got the similar comparison to the neighbors. On the sewer side, again, we went back and only El Centro didn't have rates going forward beyond this year. So we've got the rates for everybody else in 2023, along with what Calexico's rates would be in 2023.
At a glance, why is Imperial so high?
That's one of the things. It's always hard to tell when you're comparing systems to make it apples to apples. They could be investing a lot more money into their system, doing a lot more repair and maintenance, and that's why it's the rates are higher. They could be targeting a higher cash reserve ratio, emergency reserve that they're trying to do. They could be trying to do treatment at a different level than Calexico is. Size of the system, age of the system. It's really hard for us to get a true apples to apples comparison.
I only ask because people are telling me, well, I might as well move to Imperial because the homes are cheaper. But then when you look at this and the other item, it doesn't balance out. They're going to pay a little more.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure. So with that, the new rates would go into effect January 1, 2019, and then the first rate increase would be effective July 1 of 2019.
Now, any questions for our presenter, please? Please come up. Si gustan preguntar, Mr. Medina, come on down.
I think at this point, if council has any, if council has any questions from the presentation, right now would be the good time to ask any questions of the presentation. If not, then we can.
I think we're pretty well versed in this.
If council has no questions at this point in time, we can take the public comment cards on this item.
I can make a comment afterwards, though, correct?
Correct.
We're now open for a public hearing and comments from the public.
Mr. Mayor, so at this point in time, it'd be adequate to open the public hearing.
Hearing is open.
Miguel Coronel?
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, sir. This is for the second time this year. This issue about raising up our water and sewer rates has been brought up. Por segunda vez este año se le ha levantado el tema. Pero de acuerdo a esto, lo que no se ha explicado precisamente cuánto dinero le entra a la ciudad, how much revenue is coming in, that needs to be expressed, right? That needs to be let out. No, it needs to be exposed. And there seems to be a very hastiness on behalf of our honorable city council on raising up the water rates. There seems to be a really hastening. This is the second time this year. Originally, it would be fair leave it for another year, but there seems to be a very hastening on your behalf. And another issue I'd like to bring up, and another point is, what difference, what guarantee are you going to give us that things are going to be different from here on? ¿Qué garantía nos van a dar de que aquí para adelante las cosas van a cambiar y que van a ser diferentes? Si nunca han cambiado en años. Han sido poquito a poquito, just a bit, just a little bit. What difference, what guarantee are they going to give us that there's going to be actual improvements? Thank you.
This is the time to question.
The sir started saying that it was going to start in 2020. He ended by saying the rates was going to be lowered for residents, and then the 2% was going to start July 1, 2019. He said 2020. Now he said 2019. Just want to make sure.
Mr. Mayor, to allow this to move smoother, maybe if folks have questions during the public comment, you can make your comments and your questions. I know staff here will go ahead and note those down, and then after we hear the comments, then we can have staff or the consultant address that. That way, so we don't end up in a back and forth.
Okay, so what are we doing right now?
Is the public, the comment section.
The pros and cons, people giving their pros or cons for the
Yes.
city.
Correct. People have 3 minutes to comment on the item if they're for it or against it or have any opinion. Correct.
Miguel Coronel?
So anyone can come in and come up at this time. Yeah.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, citizens of Calexico. My name is Miguel Coronel, and I'll make this brief. I believe the study probably understand, mostly, if not, many of you understand there's I guess a seek for funding for infrastructure in Calexico. But the way I see it as a citizen and a resident of here in Calexico is basically they want to take it out of our pockets for all the infrastructure they want to do here. One of the things that I'm seeing, and I know Mr. Real just walked in, but my suggestion is, even though we have a quorum today, City Member Escobar is not here, and I believe this decision should be a full 5 City Council members to decide. One of the things, if you're not aware of, Mr. Escobar just got elected for Board of Supervisors, and I'm thinking Mr. Escobar didn't want to take that blame or be present today here for that decision. So I understand his absence today. And I'll just suggest that for this kind of decision, we'll take it or bring it back to the table until we have the full 5 city council members. That's my share.
Keith Charles.
As I mentioned before, and touched the topic of the city council, honorable city council, nuestros honorables concejales de esta ciudad, tienen un apuro. They have a hasteness on raising their water rates. For the second time, hay un apuro de ellos, porque es la segunda vez este año. ¿Y cuál es el apuro? Sí, regularmente en cada municipio se esperan un año, en todos los municipios, el estado, el condado, el federal, siempre se espera una, pero por la segunda vez, for the second time this year, they bring up the issue. And I'd like to add that there is still a lack of transparency what I see here. And I would like to point out and let you, our citizens, know that there's, for the second time this year, something just doesn't add up. And let us know a little further what those capital improvements are and where exactly each and every source of revenue is and what it constitutes, what it is and what exactly are your expenses. And each and every detail, let us know. From your behalf, we'd like to know that. Thank you.
Jesús Rubalcaba.
Buenas noches, Jesús Enrique Rubalcaba, 1113 CN Perry. ¿Vieron la presentación? Todos la vimos, todos fuimos testigos. ¿Esa es una presentación? No hay detalles, no hay nada, única y exclusivamente, hasta las matemáticas están mal hechas. El hombre dijo verdaderamente información que no es correcta, que no es soportable. No hay un verdadero estudio serio que justifique el porqué a los cautivos de Calexico nos van a aumentar el precio de esos servicios simplemente porque sienten que es la única forma de incrementar sus ingresos. ¿En qué se va a usar ese dinero? ¿Cuál es el proyecto? ¿Qué es lo que falta? En el 2010 todo estaba perfecto, vino el terremoto en abril 2 me parece, del 2010, vino el gobernador, aventó dinero para que se arreglaran los tanques, que se arreglaran un montón de cosas. ¿Qué es lo que está pasando aquí? ¿Por qué se necesita el dinero? ¿Cuál es la urgencia? No justifica, no hay un plan soportable. Yo pienso que si se estudia bien esto, ni la proposición 218 está cubierta como tienen ellos los números. Aquí hay gente que va a ganar mucho dinero y no somos nosotros.
Alex Peroni.
Lewis.
Place of residence, place of
Mayor,
residence.
511 Heber Avenue.
Gracias, señor Peroni.
Okay. Mayor and Honorable City Council. I'm going to speak in Spanish because most of the people here tonight are Spanish speakers. And, aquí se me hace que hay mucho mar de fondo, porque viendo lo que va a ser mi cobro nuevo, ahorita yo pago $110 al mes. Con el cobro nuevo va a ser $145. Estamos hablando más de 30%. Es mucho. Cuando empresas o bancos te suben un módico 2%, un 5%. Aquí están siendo muy agresivos. Yo creo, me voy otra vez, que hay mucho más de fondo y los vamos otra vez en las finanzas. Quién sabe qué tan grande sea el hueco que tengan allí, que tengan que cubrirlo. Pero no es una manera de tratar a su comunidad. Y no veo con qué conciencia clara puedan votar hoy esta noche en hacer ese daño de más de un 30%. Mucha gente no lo tiene. Estamos en una comunidad que está batallando. Hay que ver lo que está pasando en el Valle Imperial. Estamos amolados aquí. No hay ingresos. Que no se vayan a las bolsas, a los bolsillos del pueblo para sacar ese déficit. Les pido que con una conciencia clara lo revisen otra vez. Luis, te conozco y eres un hombre honesto, trabajamos juntos y yo sé que tú vas a tomar una decisión buena, pero que lo vean bien. ¿Y cuál es la urgencia? Así como lo comentó el señor Revuelcaba, cuando hubo los temblores fuertes, se hicieron muchas reparaciones. Me comentaba el Mandy, no, pues están mal los equipos y esto, que la gente viera, pues por ahí fuéramos empezado, los fueran enseñado la urgencia, lo malo que está. Y se le debe a la comunidad así explicaciones bien. Si quieren subir así tan agresivamente algo, está tremendo. De nuevo, yo estoy pagando 110 al mes, 145. Los consultores que tienen aquí están engañando, es una mentira. Aquí estoy viendo lo que va a costar las reparaciones. Ahí es donde se ve el gran negocio. Haz de cuenta el aeropuerto de la Ciudad de México. Entonces estamos viendo aquí el sistema del agua. Entonces hay que tener mucho cuidado con esto. Gracias, Luis.
Arturo Medina.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Arturo Medina, vivo en el 2301 de la calle Nixon, aquí en Calexico. Quiero contarles un relato. Dicen que en una ocasión le preguntaron a Confucio que cuáles eran los elementos fundamentales de un buen gobierno, y él dijo: las armas, los alimentos y la confianza de su pueblo. Y luego le preguntaron: y si tuvieras que prescindir de uno de ellos, ¿cuál sería? Dijo: las armas. Y de otro, los alimentos. Y dice: pero la gente moriría de hambre. Dice: la gente ha muerto de hambre por incontables generaciones, pero un gobierno sin la confianza de su pueblo está perdido. And I think this is one of the major situations. It's a problem of lack of trust. En el 2014 la ciudad pagaba $60 por un pie acre de agua. Gracias a la señora Galindo y al señor Matt Desert, lo bajaron para el 2015 a $20. Entonces, eso es un ahorro grandísimo. ¿Qué pasó con ese dinero? Esa es una de las cosas. Yo no veo la emergencia de todo este dinero, tampoco de crear nuevos bonos. No veo yo la emergencia. Creo que debe haber claridad en todo esto y no se ve. Precisamente por eso estamos aquí, porque no hay claridad, no hay transparencia, y es lo que necesitamos. Gracias.
Yolanda Cunningham.
Buenas noches a todos, aquí a todas las personas presentes, y buenas noches a ustedes también. lo único que quiero mencionar es lo mismo que las demás personas, el por qué se está tomando una decisión tan importante sobre el asunto del agua. Deberían, es lo que considero, que deberían dejar posponer este asunto para que el nuevo concilio que entre tome esa decisión tan importante, porque nosotros no queremos volver a escuchar que fue culpa de la administración pasada, como lo hemos estado escuchando durante muchísimo tiempo. Alguien que tiene que tomar responsabilidad de las decisiones que se tomen aquí, y espero que de verdad ustedes que están representándonos a nosotros, porque alguna vez nosotros votamos por ustedes para que ustedes velaran por los intereses de la ciudadanía, no de la ciudad. Espero que de verdad tomen una decisión correcta esta noche. Gracias.
Eva Ramos. Norma Vega.
Buenas noches, señores del concilio. La verdad, yo no entiendo por qué de nueva cuenta estamos aquí sobre el mismo tema, las tarifas. Estamos viendo una mala presentación, una presentación fallida, una presentación que no tiene sustento ingenieril, y aquí los que conocemos de esto lo sabemos, y los que no lo conocen ya se dieron cuenta también. O sea, ¿cómo es posible que nos estemos basando en un estudio que no está completo, que no está sustentado? Ese es por un lado. Por otro lado, ¿cómo es posible también que del lomo de los ciudadanos vengan ustedes a querer sacar todo lo que han saqueado de la ciudad? No, señores, analícenlo, véanlo y por favor, estúdienlo. Somos una ciudad que no tenemos empleo, no tenemos trabajo, una ciudad que es una ciudad fantasma y nos quieren todavía sangrar.
John Kim.
Con razón, por eso tenía más fantasma aquí. Se siente concilio, quiere saltarlo hasta fantasma, más que ciudadanos. Ese dinero, todos números presentados, cada tiempo cambiado. Aquí septiembre dice Ciudad Calexico tenemos 35 millones de dólares. Concilio ha hablado 13 millones de dólares nomás, 17 millones de dólares nomás. Luego dice que 20 millones nomás. Ellos contrataron 35, pero todavía es falso. Ese número no es cierto. Aquí tiene papel de budget de 18, 19 años. Allá tiene, todos tiene dinero con nosotros, 41 millones de dólares con manos. No hay dinero, ¿quién llevaron? No sé. Pero aquí dice que nomás 35. Consultantes, cuando en noviembre se subió, ellos trabajando concilio con nosotros, ellos subió 4 millones de dólares más, porque Kim todo el tiempo dice que tenemos 57 millones de dólares. Entonces ellos subieron total proyecto 53, 4 millones de dólares más, ponerlo 57. ¿Por qué? Quiere hacer una bond de 40 millones de dólares, pero nomás le dando a Calexico 27 nomás, pagando 74 millones de dólares. Estos 30 años se va a poner con nosotros esclavo de deuda y fantasma tú también. ¿Sí? Aquí tenemos el dinero, 57 millones de dólares. Se cansa todo hacer el proyecto. Chanza, ellos dicen que necesita dinero. Cuando algo pasa, puede prestar los dineros de otro fondo y ya puede ser, sacamos adelante. No hay celebro. Consultante no hay celebro, nomás su interés. ¿Sí? X ciudad con nosotros trabajando duro, tenerlo comida en su casa. Quiere quitarle comida en mi casa. Estos números cada tiempo ellos cambiando. Ellos tomaron decisión $4 millones más sin aprueba de concilio. Yo creo que ellos más alto que concilio. ¿Sí? Todos los falsos números con nosotros aquí gastando tiempo. Concilio va a considerarlos a favor de con nosotros o chanzando más fantasma. Por favor, concilio miembro del concilio está trabajando con nosotros, representantes con nosotros. Usted haya sentado tomar la decisión, usted va a poner 30 años esclavo de $74 millones o no, esa es usted la decisión. Ellos dicen que con nosotros Calexico es más barato, no es cierto. Aquí tiene una la zona, $57, agua, basura, drenaje, todos. ¿Sí? Nomás usando, recogiendo ciudad, aquí mucha gente no peleando, no le gusta pelear. Entonces ciudad ganando, aprovechando chance, subiendo, usando vecino para subirlo más. Lugar de competencia, bajarlo y subiendo. Calexico ahorita haciendo copia de ellos. Aquí chance le dieron papel, chance el número salió un poquito mal, porque yo creo que me ha afectado, como que consiguiendo consultante, me ha afectado el número mal. Pero realmente aquí en ciudad tenemos dinero y no necesita deuda nada. La única es deuda, 40 años de esclavo de con nosotros, y ¿quién va a ganar? 6 compañías ganando dinero. Hasta abogado de ciudad se va a ganar cada anual servicio entre 30 años. Ya usted está poniendo otras mangueras, chupa la sangre de con nosotros. Gracias.
Carla Ibarra.
Thank you.
Carla Ibarra. Carla.
Just want to remind folks that it's a 3-minute comment period. El comentario periodo de 3 minutos más.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, my name is Carla Ibarra. I've been coming to the meetings. I'm going to be speaking in Spanish if you don't mind for everyone here. He estado viniendo a las juntas a tratar de saber por qué se necesita este ingreso. Y cada vez que hemos venido a las juntas, gracias a aquí el señor Figueroa, que me ha proveído poca información, venimos, nos sentamos y ellos esperan nuestras preguntas. Para el salario que se les paga a las personas aquí de la ciudad, yo esperaba algo más profesional. Tuve que leer todos los expedientes y yo creo que nadie aquí en el concilio ha leído todos los expedientes para darse cuenta que la ciudad de Calexico necesita a personas que en verdad les interese entregando la información. Se me hace muy triste saber que yo creo que, no sé por qué salió nuestra councilwoman, pero yo creo que ella no ha leído nada de esta información tampoco. No creo que ninguno de ustedes haya tomado el tiempo para leer y darse cuenta que mucha de la información puede ser en pasos. Le ofrecí mi tiempo gratis a la ciudad para tratar de buscar fondos, para buscar grants. No les interesó, no me han llamado. Yo estoy disponible. Que se pueden hacer muchas cosas, se pueden hacer muchas cosas, que se puede hacer en pasos también, que podemos distribuir los gastos en el proyecto que ellos quieren hacer. También se puede hacer muchísimas cosas que se pueden hacer. Uno de los problemas que yo tengo que se me hace muy triste es que no haya venido el señor Escobar, que dijera la primera vez, dije lo entiendo, tal vez está enfermo, la segunda vez ya se me hace una grosería, porque le estuvieron dando el apoyo a las personas para que se fuera a ser nuestro supervisor, y que no asista se me hace una grosería para todos nosotros. Y la segunda, una falta de respeto. Y la segunda es también que estas personas de la compañía Wyndham, yo se los dije, y con un poquito más de educación pensé tal vez los ciudadanos no lo entiendan, pero creo que no se necesita educación, no se necesita mucha cabeza para darse cuenta que esta compañía Wyndham, aquí el señor Kevin, no sé, el señor otro señor, nos están robando. Sus estudios costaron 30,000 y el segundo no sé si 40,000, ya son $70,000 en esto que vieron ustedes, que la verdad tenemos más talento en la ciudad de Calexico que nos pueden entregar un reporte muchísimo mejor. Unos de los reportes que ellos entregaron, el primer reporte, si ustedes no sabían, tenía los números de la Water and Sewer de las otras ciudades que estaban mal. Ellos pueden comentar que la ciudad de Calexico se los entregaron, pero qué poca educación no ir a buscar si es cierto los números que les habían dado. Poco profesional. Y la última es, si nos vamos a la Proposition 218, que es lo más importante de todo esto, si están haciéndolo follow, lo que necesitan ustedes de ciudadanos saber es que, according to Prop 218, la ciudad tiene el burden of proof para entregarnos las pruebas de que los gastos son los correctos. Y desgraciadamente todavía no tenemos el reporte del Water Master Plan. No se ha entregado a la ciudad, o si ya se entregó, tampoco nos han hecho saber. No tenemos los números correctos todavía para ya implementar el gasto completo. Eso es todo. Muchísimas gracias.
Manuel Yáñez.
Buenas noches, señores del concilio. Buenas noches, ciudadanos de Calexico. Mi nombre es Manuel Yáñez, 1089 Santiago Drive, aquí en Calexico. Veo con tristeza que han decidido ponerlo en la agenda. Este costo, este incremento del agua, no solamente lo veo como una grosería, es injusto para los ciudadanos de Calexico. Es algo que me da mucha pena decirlo, pero ¿cómo es posible que no han podido ustedes en tanto tiempo usar los fondos que generan cada mes los ciudadanos con sus pagos para poder darle mantenimiento a una planta que ustedes sabían que tenían $30 millones? ¿Y dónde están? Los han malgastado, los han mal usados, los han prestado, lo que hayan hecho, pero ya se los gastaron. Como ya no los tienen, ahora ¿a quién se los vamos a quitar? A los ciudadanos, al pueblo. Vamos a cobrarles más, un poquito más. Vamos a cobrarles a $2 el pie cúbico. Qué bueno, $2. ¿Cuánto les vamos a incrementar? ¿El 30, el 50, el 40%? Yo vivo en 1089. Yo tengo un jardín desértico. Creo que soy el único de Victoria State, porque los señores, mis vecinos, tienen muy bonito jardín. Yo lo tengo desértico. Lo más que gasto en el año son 24 unidades. ¿Qué es una unidad? No lo han aclarado. Una unidad es un pie cúbico, así lo entiendo. Un pie cúbico son 7,5 galones. Digo, eso es lo que es la unidad. ¿Qué es lo que quiere decir? Que ustedes nos van a dar a $2 el pie cúbico, nos van a dar a 27 centavos el galón. Señores, nos lo quieren dar más que el agua potabilizada. ¿Qué les pasa? ¿Qué es lo que quieren? Digo, con todo respeto del señor administrador, es la primera vez que vengo en mucho tiempo. Ahora veo que hay 2 administradores. Con toda pena me da, digo, ¿que uno no es suficiente? ¿Qué es lo que les está pasando? Les agradezco que hagan sus matemáticas. Ustedes saben que les dan a $20 el acre. ¿Cuántos galones es un acre? 327,000 galones, señores. Yo solamente gasto 130 galones en el mes. ¿Saben cuántos galones le dan por 6 centavos? 1,000 galones les dan por 6 centavos. Se las están regalando el agua. ¿Cuánto gastan ustedes al año en agua? ¿Cuánto gastan? El señor administrador debe saber. $1,000 a lo mejor $5,000. ¿Lo quieren sacar en un día? Por favor, señores, hagan sus matemáticas bien. Si quieren incrementar algo, increméntelo, pero busquen la manera de que la gente no se dé cuenta. Por favor, hagan las matemáticas, incrementen lo que sea, pero que nadie se dé cuenta. Discúlpenme.
Ben Horton.
Mr. Mayor, distinguished members of the City Council, residents. Sometimes, and I'm going to be quite open on this part, we have Proposition 218, which says the city has to be in compliance. I have heard people talk about the plans, the water plans, what we should be doing. And I hope by having the community here, they can voice their opinion. They can tell us what their thoughts are. But when we get down to it, we have to look at the facts. The facts. What we're trying to do, how much money, and this is very emotional for me. I'm not getting no money. Okay. When you look at what we're trying to do in this city to improve the city, there's a point, and I hope everybody looks at this. If we move forward, we should have done a lot of things in the past, but we didn't do it. We didn't do it. And now we're looking at what we should be doing. I hope this city will take heed to understand what certain members are trying to do. And I appreciate the fact that the community is here. This is what we call a democracy, to voice your opinion. We elect the people to represent us, but yet we still give our views. We want to give our views, and we want them to listen to it. Now, we have heard a lot of points about what's going to take place and how it's going to take place, and I got a phone call. We'll answer that later. Eventually, I want everybody to think about it. How would you feel if you go to turn on your water or to flush your toilets and it doesn't work? It's too late to say we should have done things, but yet you're voicing your opinion that you want things to be a certain way. You want your government to listen to you. Listen to you. Now, they have given experts to give their opinion how the water rates will be structured. And there are some who says the mathematics is not what it should be. I feel that if it's not what it should be, give me your opinion. We all have opinions. I sit on the Economic Commission. We had them to come in and give ideas about how we could restructure certain things. We're trying to find the best way. And Calexico is somewhat lacking a lot of things. And things should have been done, but yet they're getting done. Voice your opinion to these people. Listen to what they say. I hope that some people had taken the time to read Proposition 218. Because if we don't do it a certain way, the government can step in and say, this is the way it's going to be. And they can override, because remember, state supersedes the municipal. If they feel that something is going to a point where the city's health and welfare is not taking place, they can step in and change it, and sometimes for more than what we're looking at. So I appreciate everybody giving their opinion and listen to what the people have to say, but yet they have to listen to what you have to say. Well, there's some that may not like the idea, They may not like the message, but if you have a better idea how to run it, I suggest you come up here and say what you can do on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Javier González.
Honorable alcalde, miembros del City Council, miembros, Javier González 237. Pues ya se dijo todo lo que se iba a decir. Yo nomás sí tengo la pregunta del estudio. Él comenzó diciendo que nos iba a cobrar en 2 años, que hasta 2020, pero cuando terminó dijo, van a bajar la connection fee y va a subir el rate en julio del 2019. ¿A cuál es la correcta? 2 años, 2020 o 2019. Eso sí lo dijo, si lo grabaron. Segundo, yo no iba a hablar, pero sí tiene razón el muchacho. Si van a subir el agua, no le tenemos confianza. La administración que está trabajando el water plant y el sewer plant. Ellos se acabaron el dinero. Ustedes saben cómo. Yo estuve en la commission, yo les dije qué estaba pasando. Nunca hicieron nada. Privatize. No les tenemos confianza a esa gente. La pura verdad. No les tenemos confianza. Y segundo, como dijo la señora, el ID les regala el agua. Nunca nos dieron reimbursement. Pero sí entiendo que se tiene que arreglar, pero no vamos a darles dinero y que tengan a los mismos empleados ahí que se llevaron el dinero, pues, en puro overtime y puras tonterías. Gracias.
Concepción Caro.
Si gusta usar este micrófono, sí trabaja. Nomás baja el micrófono.
Buenas noches. Países más pobres que el nuestro tiene descuento los seniors. ¿Por qué nuestro país, en vez de darnos un descuento, nos quieren ahorcar? Aquí está mi recibo. $150 por un mes. Aquí está, 83 centavos menos que no pagué, son los 150. Luego, si tú llegas a la caseta que tienen ahí para recoger los recibos, otro día, llegas tú el último día, lo echas a la caseta ahí de que tienen para recoger los recibos, los biles, y ¿sabes qué te topas? Que te ponen el late charge. ¿Por qué? Si lo van a recoger otro día y ya saben que entró ahí, en el reporte del gobierno, tú vas y lo echas a las 12 de la noche o antes de las 12 de la noche, el reporte vale. ¿Por qué en esta ciudad no vale? ¿Por qué llegamos y echamos el recibo a la caja de que ellas la recogen otro día? Porque si le ponemos estampillas, claro que va a perder tiempo y ya viene el late charge. Y aquí no, aquí te jodes. ¿Por qué? Porque no llegaste antes de las 5 o porque cerraron los viernes. No, eso no es justo. Con una alegría que uno va cuando se llega el día de votar. Ay, sí, a votar, sí, que a sentirnos ciudadanos y muy chingones aquí. ¿Y qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Que nos apachurran así. Yo soy una persona que trago de milagro, porque recibo muy poco yo, pero no me gusta andar del welfare, de las estampillas, ni madre, no me gusta. A mí me gusta joderme para ganarme, aunque sea juntando botes o lo que sea, pero yo me jodo juntando botes. Entonces no es justo lo que nos hacen. Nosotros con alegría vemos aquellas fotos sonrientes, qué hermosas, ay mira qué guapo, ay qué chulo y que esto y el otro. ¿Y qué pasa? Aquí ya cuando los tenemos arriba, se nos trepan y nos pisotean. Eso no es justo. Gracias.
Did we make a list? Did we make a list?
You want to talk? Mayor, can she talk?
Sure. We have one more speaker. No, that's fine. No, okay, that's fine. Either microphone.
My name is Eva Ramos, 814 7th Street. I live here in Calexico. Voy a decir en español. Vengo porque no creo que es justo que paguemos la gente que no gastamos tanta agua. Yo gasto 5.5 al mes, de 30. Entonces, para mí me conviene pagar lo que uso. Pero si me van a salir al ratito que a los 6 meses me van a subir a $2 o 3, 4, o que me van a subir a el sewage, que me van a subir esto, que me van a subir otro, y al último voy a resultar pagando igual o más. Entonces, no, es lo que me estoy dando cuenta. Entonces digo, bueno, hay muchas gentes de bajos ingresos aquí. No hay dinero. ¿Cómo vamos a estar pagando tanto dinero? ¿De dónde lo vamos a sacar? Si los viejitos, la señora necesita senior citizen, she needs a discount, y no lo hay. Entonces hay cosas que sí y que no. Entonces sí, quiero pagar lo que uso. No quiero pagar mucho. Así es que, I don't know. So it's a give and take thing.
Ni sé. Yo no firmo los cheques. No.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify, we had 2 public comment cards from Jung Kim and Ben Horton for both item 14 and 15. Just want to clarify that the public hearing is itemized as number 14, but it's for item 15. So it's only 1 public comment per public hearing. Oh, we had two members of the public submitted 2 public comment cards for both item 14 and 15. Just want to clarify that item 14 is just the public hearing item for number 15, which is the actual action. And since it's only 1 public hearing, you only have 1 opportunity to comment. So just want to clarify for the record.
David Romero.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, and citizens. My name is David Romero, 705 Gonzalez Court. So I've been a part of the water rate raise since it first initially started when it came out in July. I don't know if some of you were aware. And after seeing the presentation, I saw a couple of anomalies. For instance, and if I don't mind, if maybe the gentleman who presented can answer this question. When we saw that there was a $2 million loss per year, is that in the enterprise fund? Correct? Because to my knowledge, as being part of the finance and economic development for the last year, is that according to financials, we were generating a little over $3 million as it was. So that was one of my main concerns. My second concern is we're asking for a water rate raise because, according to our administration, unfortunately, our water plant and both our sewer plant are in the brink of collapse. And we need the capital improvement project, right? But then again, in the month of September, they were able to actually pass an ordinance, which was passed by council, to charge a $300,000 lease on both the water plant and the sewer plant. When yet, when it was presented the very first time, it was presented as we need every single dollar possible to fix both our water plant and our sewer plant. All of a sudden, there's $300,000 free to pay for a lease. Yet, in other city properties, there are leases that are maybe being charged only $1. Yet, something that benefits the citizens, we're getting charged $300,000. And in November, there was another meeting where they lifted a suspension to hire 10 more employees to the enterprise fund, passed unanimously by our city council, with a salary of almost approximately between salaries and benefits of $470,000. Yet we need every single dollar to really rebuild our water plant and our wastewater plant, and all of a sudden in less than 6 months, we have freed up over $770,000. Yet they come to us, the people, the citizens, to accept a water rate raise. I quite frankly think it's not the time for this right now. I think some of our focuses should be more on bringing back economic development, on helping rise back against small businesses, making City Hall once again more business friendly and an easier place to actually create more businesses and build more businesses. So with that being said, I kindly ask the council to, delay this and do not a further study, but not to take action as quickly as it's being taken right now. Thank you.
Okay, we had an opportunity to hear everybody yesterday. Les dimos tiempo para que hablaran. Ahora vamos a dar unas respuestas sobre las preguntas que dieron. So we're going to answer some of those questions that you relayed to us and you wanted some answers. So I'm going to open it up to either Mr. Figueroa or Mr. Dale too.
Mayor, we need to close the public hearing.
Do we do this first or answer? Do we want to respond to some of the comments?
We could do it either close it and then do the deliberation with the council, or we could, it's up to the mayor. But if since we did, if that is the end of the public comments, and we could close the public hearing and then just have a deliberation among the city council, but have obviously the staff and the consultant respond to that.
I'm just, Gabby's, is that,
Okay, then
should we
There's no more
close the public?
comments.
okay, so we can close the public hearing.
Then we get a chance to respond to these questions.
Yeah, we're definitely going to respond to the questions. Yes.
We're going to close the hearing at 8:02, and now we're going to have Mr. Dale or Mr. Figueroa have some responses, and Will Dan also to come up, and maybe you can assist in some of these responses that were asked.
The first question that I wrote down was how can you guarantee that things will be different this time in terms of building the infrastructure that we're promising? Because in the past it hasn't gotten done, as we all have talked about. One way that we're addressing that issue is through what's coming up later on in the agenda, pending this public hearing. When we do bonding for projects, we have to state what projects that bond will be for, and it's required, and we have our bond counsel here, but it is required, and they can confirm this and tell me I'm wrong, but once we take those bonds out for those projects, it is required by law that we follow through and do those projects. That's one guarantee how we can make that guarantee because we're doing it this way.
City Manager, can I just interrupt real quick? I understand that when the city bonds, the monies are allocated for that project, that specific whether it be enterprise or that sort, but there's no specific time on using it, and that's where it gets. I'll give you an example. We have a bond. We have money in an account from a bond for a fire department, chief, that you've never gotten, and that's been how long? Years.
About 6-7 years.
About 7 years that there's millions of dollars in an account for a fire department that now, because again, it's important to know that everybody, todo sube. Un lugar para bomberos que costaba 10 millones ahora vale 20 en 5 años, 10 años diferencia. Pero just wanted to make that clear that when you bond, para la gente que preguntó sobre el dinero, cómo se gasta, si se hace un bond, a fuerzas tiene que gastar en eso. No puedes tomar, por ejemplo, ese dinero está en un banco ahorita para bomberos, no se puede usar para el agua, o no, you can't commingle, no se puede, pero sí sí es correcto en eso, pero también yo pienso que debe de haber un timeline. O sea, sabes que tienes 2 años para hacer estos proyectos, no 20. ¿Verdad? Simplemente, I didn't mean to interrupt, but just wanted to make that clear.
And I
Los
can be-
gastos son para ese proyecto, simplemente para ese proyecto.
I know on some bond issues that they do put time limits. Like, for example, our last bond measure was from Measure D, which was the street overlay, and we had some time frames that we had to complete that by. So I know that that can
Some
be
of them
done.
do that,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay.
Do we know about this one? Does this one have a time constraint?
We have our bond counsel here. We can maybe answer that question.
Good evening, council and members of the public. Under federal tax law, for the city to be able to issue tax-exempt bonds, which is the proposal here, for these facilities, they have to have reasonable expectations of spending at least 85% of the proceeds within 3 years and 100% of the proceeds within a short time after that. So you basically have 3 years on a project to spend the money. And that if you fail to do that, you could risk having the bonds be declared taxable down the road.
Okay, thank you.
So 85% of the monies need to be spent by 3 years.
Yes, 85% and the balance very shortly after that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The next question that I have here is, there was some confusion as to when the rates would go into effect. I know that we changed to this would be an ordinance now, so and we said in January 1st, but it most likely, I'll defer to our city attorney, but probably later, February 1st, something to that effect. Is that correct?
Yeah, and then I think the other thing is, when I was given the presentation, so unlike on a calendar year that's January 1 through December 31, the city operates on a fiscal year that runs July 1 through June 30th. So when I said it would go into effect July 1 of 2019, that's fiscal year 2019-20. So that could be where the 1920 confusion was coming from.
Thank you. Oh, okay. So January 5th, okay. There was some question as to what the CIP, which is the Capital Improvement Program on the water and sewer side, what that entails, and we have a very detailed description of that item in the bond item that's coming up. But there's several items that we have that to be completed within the next 5 years that it's very detailed, it's very specific, and it's going to be in that bond issue. There was a question about, or I don't know if it was a question or a comment about IAD rates being lowered. That is true. They got lowered from about $60 an acre foot to $20 more or less an acre foot, and that happened in 2014. The purchasing of our water is a very small part of what the total costs are for water. We purchase the water, we store the water, we pump the water from the storage to the water treatment plant. We pump the water again into our tanks, then we pump it, we pump it through a filtration system, a very detailed filter system, clarification filters. Once it's in there, it's stored in the tanks. Once it's from the tanks, it's pumped once again through our distribution system into your house. So there's a lot more than just purchasing the water. We have to transport the water, we have to treat the water, and make sure that it's treated to the standards of the state of California. So there's a lot that goes into other than just purchasing the water. There's a question, and I'll defer this to you if I could, about $3 million in as they're seeing it now, as to for the next 5 years, a $2 million loss. Can you address that?
Yeah, so when we said that the water utility was averaging a $2 million loss, that was looking for fiscal year 2019-20 through 2023. So it was a forward-looking approach as opposed to a backward-looking approach where the city has generated revenue on the water side based on that and going forward, looking at the revised capital plan, based on the projects that have been deferred and not completed in the past, and what needs to be done over the next 5 years, that's where that $2 million deficit on average is coming from.
Thank you. I'm not sure if there were any other questions. Most of the others were just comments. We just addressed that, but it appears that it'll be either January 5th, which is 30 days after the second reading, but it most likely will fall into the February because they're 1st through the 30th, so.
We have a question here.
Okay, we can address one question.
When
I know,
you
right?
address the price, cuando dijiste el precio de la unidad, dijiste
We need it in.
99, you said it was like 199, and somehow the math doesn't add up. Lo tienes todo mal, o sea, you got it all wrong. It's not what you said it was. A lot of people think that the increase, mucha gente piensa que el aumento va a ser un 2%. Disculpen. Algunas personas tienen la percepción de que el aumento va a ser un 2%. A lot of people think it's only going to be 2% raise. Nope. Alguien como yo va a pagar el doble de lo que paga actualmente. Si pagaba 275, voy a pagar 550. Y muchos de ustedes van a estar en la misma posición. No es en realidad, en las condiciones que está, a menos que lo expliquen de otra manera, porque hasta la fecha no tenemos información. We have no information of the real condition of the facilities, water and sewer. Ellos nada más quieren aumentarlo, aumentarlo y aumentarlo. Yo estoy seguro que muchos de ustedes no están de acuerdo con eso. I'm pretty sure a lot of people is not
Sir, is there a
willing
question?
to go
We
through
need a
that.
question.
But the main question is, la pregunta principal, your math is wrong. Do the math, because it's not what you said it was. It's different. You want to go through a presentation again so you can clarify that? But you got it all wrong. It's not what you said it was.
I think
Okay,
the issue
that's-
is the 199 by cubit, but it's not cubit.
It's 199 per.
199 per unit.
1724 for nothing. You gotta add that up to 199, because you're gonna have to pay it regardless. You're gonna have to pay 1724 whether you use it or not. Yes?
That's correct. And then $1.99, and 1 unit is 100 cubic feet. One unit is 100 cubic feet or 768 gallons. That's what 1 unit
Yeah,
equals.
it's 100 cubic feet.
So, okay. With it,
It's 256 per unit, actually. When you add up to 1724, that's what it comes out,
okay.
more or less. Of course, it can go higher, but you use more.
Was there any other questions or was all comments? Okay, so I think we addressed, but most of them, the other were just comments. I didn't have any other questions.
Any clarification?
Oh, geez.
You need to use a microphone. I'm sorry. Could you use a microphone over here? They can't hear.
Eva, if you want to be heard, Eva, and recorded, it's important to come to the speaker or get the microphone.
Okay, the public hearing is closed, correct? Did we close
This is
it?
just to answer a question.
Okay.
Just to the answer.
These are questions.
You know, just want to, we did close the public hearing, Mr. Mayor, just want to.
Questions.
Give him a chance to hear the question. A response.
I would like to respond back to the gentleman. He said that a guarantee, una garantía para nosotros como comunidad, desde que ellos entran en un bono, en el bono del financiero, la obligación financiera. Responding back to the gentleman here that regarding that just entering to that financial bond, that legal bond, ese bono, ese bono legal, es una garantía de que se va a cumplir, pero aún así es no suficiente. No, tiene que ser más visible. There should be a lot more evident than what just entering into a legal obligation. So I'd just like to add to that point. Thank you.
Mr. Campos, unless we leave it up to now City Council,
At this time, we have council deliberation, and do you have any questions from staff or the consultants, correct?
Mr. Hodge, any comments?
Yes. As a city councilman, my obligation is to protect the public safety indirectly and to enhance the welfare. Well, just wait. Socially and economically of the citizens of Calexico. And that includes the 35 or 50, 60 people that are here present to all the 41,000 citywide. Now, please hear me out. Voting yes on the water restructuring and the rates will economically, in the long run, enhance the welfare of our people. Also, it will divert future disastrous consequences in infrastructure and much higher rates down the road. It will prevent Calexico from turning into a dangerous infrastructure wasteland or ghost land, like some of you like to say. Voting yes, it will prevent people from having to pay exorbitant prices to the cost of repair of their vehicles. Remember, when roads are bad and there are potholes, that messes up your car and you have to pay a lot. Voting will vastly improve infrastructure and safety on our roads and water plants. Voting yes in the long run will save people money on water rates. Here's the controversial part. This item I see is socially, economically class-oriented. The middle to the higher middle class will pay more if they choose to maintain their beautiful landscapes and gardening. But voting yes on the water restructuring and rates will benefit seniors the most and lower working class families. It's noted that seniors don't use as much water as other classes. Therefore, their water rates will be lower. And as to the majority of the class families, and this is something we have forgotten, once conservation, and this is a savings, once conservation practices and workshops are instituted, the lower class families, their water rates most likely will be maintained or lowered. Instead of $104 or $10, it can actually go down to $84. Now we need to vote yes now because we have money in the enterprise fund. Okay. Let me finish, please.
Please.
Let me finish, please. Okay, let me finish.
Please, wait a minute, por favor. Por favor.
I'm almost through. And the positive, and having the money in the enterprise fund and the positive modifications that have been made, like lowering the interest rate from 4.5 to 2% over an extended period of time, will make it very reasonable. Now, I don't want people's cars damaged on bad roads. I don't want senior citizens paying the same amount in water rates when they use less. That's not fair. I don't want Calexican families in 2 years to have to pay triple amount of money compared to today's rate because we didn't vote yes and capital monies were depleted to zero, which would cause the rise of water rates. Finally, voting yes, I think, is more equitable and democratic. Americans don't like being told how much they have to pay. like our current water rates. Americans like being independent in their choices. They want the right to control their water rate through conservation and pay as you use. I'm going to vote yes on it. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Por favor, por favor.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yeah?
think we have a report now from the city clerk. She's been able to tally up the ballots.
Mayor Pacheco, we have received 277 protest votes. We did not receive the votes for a majority of 50% plus one from the total property owners in the city of Calexico, and the council may move forward.
I'd like to make a few statements.
Okay, Mr. Rial, any comments?
Oh, wait.
Excuse me, por favor, por favor.
You gotta stop. This is public hearing's over. I know, yeah. It's hard, but we gotta stop. Okay.
Mr. Hurtado, comments?
Con permiso, pero
Public hearing is.
Mr. Mayor, Mr.
Discúlpenme
Mayor.
que tenga
Por
que
favor,
decir.
ya-
No, señor, discúlpenme.
No,
señor.
señora.
Ustedes
Perdón.
están representándonos a nosotros
Sí,
como
sí.
ciudadanos. Y sabe que me parece inaudito que el señor esté diciendo lo que está diciendo. ¿Y sabe por qué? No es personal, señor Hodge. Usted lo sabe. La
You
señora
cannot-
tiene
you
81
cannot-
años y
Mr.
ella
Mayor,
vive de sus
yeah,
rentas.
you need to
Y
shut
usted
them
lo
down.
sabe. ¿Usted con qué
No.
calidad moral está diciendo lo que está diciendo?
No se puede hacer ningún ataque personal,
No,
señora,
no,
a ningún
señora.
miembro.
Sí, señora. porque
Aquí están las
nosotros-
reglas.
No, no, no.
You want to be removed, keep up that language. No, Okay, Mr. Chief. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You weren't treated like that. You weren't treated like that. Thank you.
Señor Pacheco, discúlpeme, no quería nombrar esto porque me daba más pena a mí, pero lo único que estamos diciendo, ¿con qué calidad moral? Discúlpeme, señora. ¿Con qué calidad moral el señor está pidiendo eso? Lo único que nosotros estamos tratando de que esto sea razonable. Yo nada más les digo, ¿por qué no se toma esta decisión cuando las nuevas representantes estén ahí? Nosotros votamos por ustedes para que ustedes nos representaran. Y no me parece justo que ahorita que faltan estas dos personas, bueno, ahorita falta el señor Escobar, se tiene que tomar esta decisión cuando las demás personas del concilio estén ahí. Que alguien se haga responsable de esto. No es justo, señor Pacheco. Y si usted es una persona justa y una persona también coherente, van a posponer esto hasta que estén las personas ahí, porque queremos saber quién vota a favor o quién vota en contra.
Gracias.
Porque esto nosotros lo tomaremos en
Gracias.
cuenta.
We're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll take a break. Me da mucha pena decirles que te tienes que salir porque no estás en orden. Es la última vez que quiero decir ese tipo de arreglos con la gente de aquí. No estamos aquí para gritar y no. Vamos a tener una junta en orden y con orden. ¿Sí? ¿Sí? Sí.
Solamente una persona fue la que faltó el respeto.
Gracias. Ojalá seguimos así. Ojalá que seguimos en esa manera.
Estamos,
We're
yeah,
short
seeing-
one, but we're
waiting.
going to.
Yeah, let's wait for the councilwoman.
Yeah, let's wait.
Esperamos a.
I'm suddenly remembering that Snicker commercial. Was it "Want to Get Away"? What was it?
Calgon, take me away.
Yeah. Want to get away?
We're going to resume this session. Mr. Hodge, anything you want to add to that? Or is that was it? Thank you, Mr. Hodge. Mr. Oriel? Mr. Hurtado?
Oh. I was just having a conversation in the ladies' room, trying to go over some of the concerns. What we were talking about now is a couple of the things that were said, to clarify for the public, I guess, is that, as far as the price on gallons and the calculation that was made, there was a small mistake on the staff report that allowed for a misinterpretation, so it's not 27 cents per gallon. It is 0.2002, not even
27 cents for 1,000 gallons, or 100 gallons, I think it is.
Okay, so very important to clarify that.
Yeah.
There was a couple of comments about that there hasn't been, that we just raised our rates last year. That wasn't correct. I've been here since 2008, and we haven't raised our rates since 2006. Okay, so that's almost, or actually more than 10 years. Somebody else made a comment about 2010 that everything was perfect, and of course it was not. That's when Mr. Hodge and I started our first term, 2008. I've been here for 8 years. That's when our huge earthquake happened. And many analyses were done to review what occurred. And besides the effects of the earthquake, the deterioration of an old system is also recognized. But I may also tell you all that the city has gone through a lot of instability. In 8 years that I've been here, we've had 8 city managers. And instability is not good for a community that needs this much work. So it is true that at this point you do have a council that does require some respect, because there has been a lot of work to have to conduct to get to this point of survival. And I explained this to a lot of people, because Calexico has a lot of times the short end of the stick as far as being a member of this county and the community. And what that is that the city of Calexico has impacts that no other city of the valley has. And what that is the port of entry. And that port of entry costs this city a lot of money. We have a fire department that was this close to closing. And we have that problem because no other city in the county, there is no money, federal money for us, unfortunately. That is our problem. And so we are estamos cargando un peso enorme de nuestros gastos. Y nuestros gastos siempre han sufrido así. So salaries may be it too, who knows, right? But overall, the leadership has been a problem with so much instability. At this point, we do have a stable situation much more than before. And I know that the trust factor has been diminished in all these years. I sat here at the same time. I live in the same city that you do. I struggle just as you do. I have 3 jobs to be able to just make ends meet for my family. So, and I have 2 kids that are in college and stuff like that. So it is not about making changes that, in my personal view of things, is going to hurt anybody. It's actually to improve our living conditions, because I live here just like you do. And for 8 years, I've done so much to make sure in all aspects of this city to do as much as I can to make things better. But it is difficult. It's about money. But I want to make a comparison to someone that all of you that I was making to the ladies in the ladies' room, is that all of you know that Highway 111 and Highway 98, la 111 y la 98, son 2 carreteras muy importantes para esta ciudad. Esos carreteras los mantiene el Estado de California. Y hace como unos 8 meses, señores, estuvimos ahí donde el Estado de California nos proporcionó a nosotros, diferente a las otras ciudades de Valle Imperial, $11 millones. Y esa cantidad se nos va a estar proporcionando en 10 años, creo, 10 años, $11 millones. Ya comenzó el trabajo. Ese trabajo es lo que ustedes están mirando, que nos causa más dolor de cabeza con las filas. Esos impuestos mucha persona tuvo problema con ese impuesto que se llama the gas tax, lo que estás pagando en la pompa, que aparentemente entonces nos subió el precio de la gasolina. Todos usamos gasolina también. Los votantes del estado de California decidieron en un voto quedarse con ese impuesto, porque mucha gente lo querían eliminar. Si se hubiera eliminado ese impuesto, ustedes hubieran mirado de esas obras parar, porque esas obras son las que se están pagando con ese dinero. Entonces aquí lo que estamos haciendo nosotros es lo mismo, tomando en cuenta lo que es las necesidades de este pueblo, de esta ciudad, tan importante para todos nosotros, porque es nuestras vidas, nuestras familias aquí, pero también han pasado muchas manos, es verdad, yo lo he visto, y no lo niego, porque lo he visto. Pero en lo que es en este momento, el de lamentar lo que ha ocurrido en el pasado, creo que no nos ayuda a nadie. Lo que tenemos que hacer es inteligentemente llevarnos adelante y reconocer lo que reconocieron muchos de los votantes aquí en California, que para poder llegar a poder hacer trabajo, tiene que haber dinero. Y entonces ese dinero es lo que aquí también en la ciudad hemos hecho 4 visitas con el público para poder expresar toda la información que es importante de ustedes conocer. Lo que no han estado, lo que no han podido estar aquí para esas explicaciones, lo siento mucho, pero en realidad ahorita estamos haciendo yo creo la 5ª vez. But that's okay, eso es bien importante poder proporcionar. Hubo un comité de comisión de ciudadanos que ustedes estuvieron ahí, que sé que hubo mucho trabajo con ustedes en administración para poder seguir escuchando. Pero como líderes de esta ciudad nosotros sabemos, aquí trabajo yo todos los días por 8 años, saber internamente qué es lo que debemos de hacer. Yo también creo que en este momento vamos a tener que apoyar el incremento por esas razones.
Okay. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Real.
Voy a hablar en español. Voy a pedir al concilio y a la gente, al alcalde, al mayor, que me tenga un poquito paciencia, porque sí tengo muchas notas de toda la gente que vino a hablar y quiero tratar de tocar los temas, tratar de que miren. Primeramente, quiero decir que la presentación esta que se dio realmente no nos dijo nada. Estaba muy simple. Simplemente son números, enseñarle a la gente, y si no saben realmente qué están leyendo, haz de cuenta que son puras cosas que ni saben, ¿verdad? No, eso sí. No. What was the cost on the presentation?
The second study, 20 cost.
I don't have the exact number in front of me, but the cost of the study for Wildan, is that what you're asking?
Wildan's study.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to say that the first time it was 68,000 and the second time it was 27,000.
So 27,000. What I want to say is it's not that the presentation was no good. It's just it doesn't, for the layperson or someone that's not involved in city politics every day. I think that pienso que I switched to English. Pienso que tenemos que enseñarle a ustedes, a la gente, lo que nosotros acá ya hemos visto, ya sabemos. Por ejemplo, me gustaría tener un camión y llevarlos a ver las instalaciones que tenemos, realmente qué tan mal están, ¿verdad? Hablando de la presentación, pienso que le faltó mucho para enseñarles a ustedes por qué están queriendo subir el aumento del agua. Me fallé algo, les quiero dar las gracias. Yo tengo aquí ya, voy para 4 años y contadas las veces en esta mano, yo creo las veces que ha estado así de lleno aquí, porque realmente mucha gente no viene, no sé si no les importa. Esto obviamente les importa y por eso están aquí. Les quiero dar las gracias, que se están, que vienen a ver agarrar este conocimiento de lo que está sucediendo. Pero no sé cuántos aquí saben, pero yo hace 3 años saqué un video, no sé si varios lo miraron, unos están diciendo que sí, otros que no. Esto fue algo que yo, después sí lo traigo yo ya de 3 años trabajando, porque sí es una injusticia. Es una injusticia de muchas formas. Primeramente, yo cuando tenía ya 1 año aquí en el Cabildo, una señora mayor me comentó: oye, Yo me voy a Mexicali 2-3 meses al año y yo regreso y debo agua como si hubiera estado aquí. Eso es una injusticia, pagar $43 o $47 que pagas sin estar en tu casa. Entonces es una injusticia y deben de pagar por el uso, ¿verdad? Entonces yo estaba peleando cuando yo miré que 22,000 galones son 30 unidades, que es lo que ahorita te cobran los $43. Es mucha agua. 22,000 galones no todos lo gastan. Si hubiéramos mantenido el precio del agua que tenemos ahorita y nos hubiéramos ido a lo que le llaman metered rate, que es lo que pagas por uso, mucha gente, específicamente la gente que vive en familias de 1, 2, 3 personas, se hubieran ahorrado mucho dinero, ¿verdad? Desafortunadamente, ¿qué es la realidad de la situación? Y yo quiero aquí no proteger a mis regidores, a mis colegas, ni realmente a los city managers. Mire, este problema que tenemos ahorita tiene ya más de 20 años haciéndose. La gente que estuvo aquí hace 20 años que tomó estas decisiones, pues ya no están aquí. No sé dónde estén, pero aquí no están. Este es algo que un plato que se nos ha servido que pues ni modo, hay que, como dice el dicho, hay que atorarle. O sea, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Correr y si sabes qué, no fue mi culpa y pues ¿para qué me meto en problemas? O sea, aquí todos acá arriba, nadie acá arriba tiene la culpa, vaya, pero lo tenemos que de alguna forma arreglar, ¿no? Entonces, en la presentación le faltó muchas cosas tocar. Una, qué tan mal está la situación. Otra, no están tocando el tema de crecimiento. Nosotros ahorita, yo no sé ustedes, pero en mi casa abres el agua y la presión no está muy bien, que digamos. Entonces, esto es algo que ayudaría a la presión. Esto es algo que no creo que puedo darles específicas, pero han habido personas que vienen, que quieren construir, yo quiero construir 400 casas. Quiero ver, ¿qué es lo primero que se fijan? ¿Tienes el agua para mis 400 casas? ¿Qué crees? No la tenemos. Entonces se van a Brole, Imperial, otros lugares que sí lo tienen. Entonces son muchas cosas que el estudio le faltó enseñarles a ustedes, al público, que son cosas que a nosotros ya nos han enseñado, ¿no? Quiero también comentarles que alguien comentó, una persona que fue regidora comentó algo de que hay otros fondos. Yo les no sé cómo explicárselos, pero aquí en la ciudad nomás hay realmente dos fondos. Está el fondo que es el General Fund, que es casi todo de la ciudad, y luego está Enterprise, que es el que estamos hablando del agua, ¿verdad? Y ¿qué es la realidad? Que cuando yo entré aquí hace 4 años, esta ciudad estaba $9 millones sobregirada. $9 millones. O sea, y ahí les va, muy fácil. El problema grande que tiene esta ciudad es mal gasto. Mal gasto por 20, 30 años, no ahorita. O sea, les voy a explicar algo, por ejemplo, un mal gasto que tiene que ver con esto. Ahorita el agua no les cobran por medida, ¿va? Todos pagan lo mismo por 22,000 galones. Ok. Sí sabes que les pusieron medidor nuevo a todos, ¿va? $6 millones por medidores nuevos. ¿Y de qué sirven si no cobramos por medir? $6 millones. Eso pasó administración pasada. Cosas así de esa forma que ahora ¿quién va a pagar? Miguelito, el pueblo, ¿verdad? Es mal gasto. Es mal gasto. ¿Por qué? Porque ahorita vienen, porque está esto en la agenda. Pero posiblemente, yo no estoy diciendo que no, posiblemente, pero esos son los malgastos que suceden, ¿no? A ver, quiero tocar aquí también algo muy importante. La agua es barata, sí, cierto. Tenemos mucha agua, no aquí, pero la agua, el del río Colorado, como nos la vende IID, la agua es barata, ¿verdad? Pero desafortunadamente, volviendo a ¿cuántas personas, levanten sus manos, aquí trabajan en la planta de agua aquí en Calexico? Y no hay ni uno. ¿Por qué será? Bueno, fíjese, hay gente que trabaja en la planta de agua ganando $150,000 al año. ¿Quién les dio esos sueldos? Los cabildos en el pasado, ¿verdad? Y eso lo venimos arrastrando. Dejen termino. Eso lo venimos arrastrando de hace muchos años. Volvemos a lo mismo, malgasto. Malgasto y malgasto y malgasto. Yo les voy a decir, yo quiero, yo tengo ya casi los 4 años aquí y quiero pensar que la mayoría de ustedes puede decir que les caiga bien yo como persona o no. Yo siempre les he dicho o tratado de decir la verdad. Yo pienso que eso fue lo que yo al pueblo le he comunicado. Igual como eso, cuando yo saqué ese video sobre el agua, miraras cómo me tiraron, los de la planta de agua me odiaron. Pero ¿por qué sacaste eso a la luz? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Porque es la verdad. Pero al pueblo, mira, calladito al pueblo. No le quieren decir al pueblo lo que realmente está pasando. Hay mal gasto por todos lados. Ahora, ¿qué está pasando? Volvemos a lo mismo. Este es un plato que se nos ha servido aquí a nosotros, que desafortunadamente ahora tenemos que hacer algo, ¿verdad? Pues volvemos a lo mismo. Si no le ponen, yo les quiero, yo no tengo 10 años aquí como otras personas. Yo tengo 4 años aquí. Yo les puedo decir que yo trabajé con 3 city managers. Estos city managers que están ahorita, es el city manager más, no voy a decir barato porque soy feo, pero el city manager que menos sueldo ha tomado. ¿Me entiendes? No, teníamos city managers de $250,000. Él gana abajo de 120, se me hace, o sea, es una gran diferencia, ¿verdad? Y están tratando de hacer lo correcto, ¿verdad? Ahora, yo soy la primera persona, y los que me conocen saben, y las juntas que fui yo, ustedes saben que yo estoy 100% en contra de subir el agua. O sea, 100%. Pero ¿qué sucede? ¿Qué va a suceder? Si no sube ahorita, sube el año que viene, sube el año que sigue, sube el año que... Mira, desafortunadamente es algo que yo lo quiero o no, va a suceder. Lo tengo peleando 3 años y aquí estamos al momento de votar y mira, se cansa. No, mira, es muy, déjales explico, es muy bueno, que vengan, que escuchen, ¿verdad? Bueno,
Gracias. Thank you.
Permítame un segundito. Están aquí para dar su opinión, y el cabildo debe de tomar su opinión de ustedes conforme con todo lo que sabemos nosotros y tomar un voto inteligente, ¿verdad? Entonces, yo volviendo a lo mismo, yo nomás quiero explicarles que pase lo que pase, aquí el malgasto es el problema más grande. Tenemos 20, 30 años malgastando. Sí les puedo decir que ahorita en este momento estas personas con el cabildo, no quiero darle a una persona en específico un reconocimiento más que otro, no, todos juntos tenemos un presupuesto balanceado, no estamos $9 millones sobregirados, no puedo decir que la malgastada no debo decir que sea erradicado, pero se ha minimizado mucho. Le hemos bajado, no, ahí voy. Le hemos bajado y no es algo que yo estoy contento porque se oye feo, pero le hemos bajado el sueldo a la mayoría de las personas de la ciudad hasta 30%. ¿Ok? Ahí les va. Yo creo el único, I'm making my comments, deja hacer mis comentarios. Yo propuse que el cabildo, no nomás que nos quitáramos el sueldo, que nos bajáramos la aseguranza cuando estábamos pasando por estos problemas. Y lo hicimos. Nosotros también hemos sentido, se puede decir, no te voy a decir que los $500 que ganamos al mes es una gran cosa, pero de todos modos lo pusimos se puede decir en el plato y nos los quitamos. También la aseguranza nos quitamos. O sea, no es fácil tomar estas decisiones. Yo estoy en contra de lo que estamos haciendo, pero tenemos que entender que yo ya le busqué por todos lados. Yo me he sentado con los city managers, me he sentado con todos a ver cómo podemos salirnos de hacer un aumento, y no sé cómo decirles que si no lo hacemos ahorita, lo hacemos mañana o pasado. Yo puedo, mira, lavarme las manos y decir, ¿sabes qué? Yo ya salgo en menos de, ¿cuántos días son? Yo salgo en menos de 12 días y digo, pues ¿para qué me meto en problemas? Y que el que sigue, ¿verdad? Pero la realidad es que hay que tomar el bull by the horns, como dicen. Aquí los votos ya están para que pase y pues es lo que es, ¿no? Y es todo lo que les puedo decir.
Thank you, Mr. Real. Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Okay. Public hearings ended. We've heard comments. We're going to take the vote for number 14. Public hearing on rate increases to water and sewer services fees. Opportunities for members of the public to address the City Council concerning the proposed water and sewer service fee rate increases. Call for the questions. I need a
Mr. Mayor, clarification. It's item number, the public hearing was 14. The ordinance adopting the rate structure is item number 15. For clarification.
Item 15.
Yes. We're going to take a vote. All those.
Roll call. Roll call.
Vote.
We need a roll call.
Roll call.
Gabby, roll call.
Mayor Pacheco,
Roll call. Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobar is absent. Councilmember Hodge.
Aye.
Councilmember Real.
Aye.
Councilmember Hurtado.
Ahí están los tres votos ya.
We have a
Four ayes, carry it.
Okay.
Passes.
Let me read the title of the ordinance. Ordinance City Council, City of Calexico, California, adopting fees and charges for water and sewer service and making certain findings and taking certain actions relating thereto. Thank you.
Item 15.
Yeah, item.
That was.
Correct. Item 15.
Do we vote on that?
Yes, with a 4-0 vote. So now, continue with the agenda, Mr. Mayor. We're now back
Bonds.
at item number 9.
Oh, 9.
I'm sorry, Mr. Campos. We voted on both 14 and 15.
Only 15.
Only 15.
They were related. 14 with a public hearing for item number 15, correct. So now, we're back to item number 9 on
Number 9.
Number 9 today's agenda.
Mr. Campos, we're good to go.
Yes,
Thank you.
correct.
Going to item 9.
Given, Mayor, that item 9 is such a simple, do we really
Do all
need-
three of them, 9,
Yeah.
10, 11?
May I?
Yes.
I'll motion for the approval of number 9. City Attorney, is that
That's
valid?
appropriate.
We're okay,
I'll
Ralph.
second
I
that.
think we're okay. We understand what a nuisance
I'll
is.
second that.
Actually, thank you, Ralph, on the nuisance, right?
Call for the question. 9, 10, 11.
9, 10, 11, motion for its approval.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pass. Item 12. Discuss the potential action regarding request for Eduardo de Real La Fuente Restaurant for a waiver of building permit and business license inspection permit filing fee. Mr. Figueroa, any background on this?
Yes, absolutely. Mr. De Real is the owner of Tortas and Beer. As we know, with the improvements to Cesar Chavez Boulevard, there is a relocation that needs to occur. Mr. Del Real has decided to purchase property within the city and
Yay.
open his business somewhere else. That's
Good
why
job.
we feel it's appropriate that this council consider waiving the fees, given that Mr. Del Real decided to continue to invest and keep his clientele in the city.
Very good.
Sold. Motion
Yeah.
for its
Motion
approval.
motion to approve.
I'll approve that.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 13, resolutions consenting to inclusion of the City of Calexico properties in the Golden State Finance Authority PACE programs and associate membership in Golden State Finance Authority. Mr. Figueroa.
I'll defer to
Mr.
Mr.
Ralph.
Morales.
Y ahí nos miramos porque para allá.
Mayor, council members, there is a company by the name of Golden State Finance Authority, which is also used to be called California Home Financial Authority, that established two property assessed clean energy financing programs for residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural properties to address high upfront costs for property owners who would wish to improve their properties and reduce through the installation, of measures that would generate renewable energy and reduce the energy and water use. And this was done by offering low-cost financing and allowing construction of these projects to proceed and in the process stimulate building activity and overall local economy, reduce peak energy demand, and increase property values and generate savings on utility bills for property owners. This is a financing company that is not connected with the city. It's a finance company that is separate from the city. And what they do, they come in and they provide loans to the either residential or commercial property owners. And so they have a special financing. We have one of the representatives, which is Crystal Crawford, which can provide more information as to how this program works and how the city function would play with this company. So I'd like to ask her to come up and
Thank you for being here.
Welcome. Good evening. Crystal Crawford from Y Green Energy Fund. I am happy to be here. I am a retired city council member from a small city in San Diego County.
So you know our pain.
So I certainly understand the work, the effort, the time and effort that goes into evaluating your water and sewer rates. So my appreciation for the work that the council and staff and your consultants have done in an effort to try to address the issues in your city. So after having heard obviously the passionate input from your residents, I know it's a tough job, and so I appreciate your efforts to do what's right for your city. So thought I'd just add that, because again, I've been in your place before. It's never easy. So at any rate, I hope that you are familiar with PACE financing. Is that a safe assumption on my part that you know about property assessed clean energy?
Poquito.
A little bit, all right. Well, as PACE is a concept that it's in about 37 states in the U.S. Florida, California, and Missouri have very robust programs, and I'm happy to say that Y Green Energy Fund, in partnership with Golden State Finance Authority, that we have a very healthy program. It is completely voluntary. What we're here this evening with as staff has brought forward, we're asking for the council to approve the availability of the program. As you've seen in your resolution and in your staff report, the state PACE laws require, in order for the program to be offered, and again, it's a completely voluntary option for property owners. No one's required to use it, and in fact, they may choose to pay cash or use a credit card or use a home equity line of credit or some other type of financing to make energy efficiency improvements or water conservation, or perhaps invest in solar. I'm also happy to report that several years ago the legislature also added seismic hardening, seismic retrofits to the eligible improvements that this financing can be used for. Effective January 1 of next year, it will also be available for wildfire protection. I don't know if that's an issue in this part of the state, but certainly it is in other areas. So the financing allows property owners to use the equity in their property to secure the financing, which can then be paid back over a very long period of time. Typically, most people choose a 20-year payback period. The rates and the amounts are fixed once they sign the financing agreement, and then it's divided so that, for example, in a 20-year term, 1/20th of the amount appears on the property tax bill each year. So the property owners pay back the financing as an additional line item on their property tax bill. So I'll stop there and let the councilwoman ask. I see that she may have a question.
This is like the HERO program.
HERO is another PACE program. That's exactly right. That's a brand name but it's the same type of financing.
It's the same concept.
Yes, but our program is offered through Golden State Finance Authority, which currently we have 303 cities and counties in the state of California participating in the program. Once we have your authorization, the work that's been done to bring the item forward tonight, that's the only work that's involved or required by the city, is again the city approval. Everything else, all of the work is done by the Joint Powers Authority, Golden State Finance Authority, and they have contracted with the company that I work for, Y Green Energy Fund, to actually provide all of the customer support. We take the applications, we do the underwriting, We train the contractors, for example, and evaluate the contractors before they participate in the program. We work with the auditor controller in Imperial County, for example, to place the assessments on the tax bills of your customers. And then we also, the most important thing is we provide the funding. So, but what we're here tonight to discuss with you is whether or not you'd like the city of Calexico to participate in the program.
Of course.
And that requires a resolution from your city council to authorize that.
I'm a tax preparer.
Excuse me?
I'm a tax preparer.
Yes, ma'am.
So a lot of my clients have asked me about the benefits because it's a financing program and it's an option. It's a very attractive option because the financing is so flexible. And also because it was understood that the interest was going to be deductible.
And that we are very clear, both as a company and with our contractors, that we recommend to folks that they consult with their financial advisors to determine whether or not this would be deductible based on their individual tax situation.
Right, especially
So
with
we
the tax
don't give
changes,
tax
right?
advice.
Because of the tax changes that are coming
Right.
in. To
Again,
itemize.
we
It's still
have
attractive.
expertise in financing.
It's
not
still a decent financing, it's still attractive, it's still flexible.
Yes.
But that was a big question, was clients asking, what's my benefit? So in the past, it was easy to say your benefits because you can deduct that besides being flexible.
Right.
Now it's a little different.
Well, and again, we've never been, we've always taken the position that we're not tax experts. So we
Well, yeah.
recommend to folks that they seek competent advice on that. But one of the clear advantages is that there's no cash out of pocket. So if a person has equity and they qualify, because they do have to show that they are financially able to repay the financing, obviously, that they can make the annual payments on their tax bill. We do check to make sure that folks are current on their mortgage if they have one, that they're current on their property taxes. You can't be in bankruptcy. So we do evaluate that, but one of the clear benefits, in addition to the fact that no cash out of pocket, is that you're tying the payments on the improvements to the useful life. So if you use your credit card to install a new air conditioner or new windows or something like that, you're paying for it all up front.
Yeah.
Whereas with this program, you're spreading out the payments over a 5-year, a 10-year. You could choose 15 or 20 or 25. So you're spreading it out over, it's tied to the useful life of the improvement.
Very good.
So that's another advantage to property owners, that instead of having to pay it all up front, and then you might sell your property and you don't recoup the full benefits of the improvement, the PACE program allows you to spread it over time.
Does the sale of the home transfer that debt?
Yes, it is the legislation.
It's tied to the title?
It's intended to transfer upon sale. Now, I will tell you that many times the buyer and the seller may enter into a negotiation. The buyer may ask the seller to pay off the financing. That does happen. Property owners can pay off the financing without penalty.
And who would be the person to service and to actually provide all of that information to the homeowner?
That's Y Green.
Okay.
We do train the contractors, of course, so they have to be well informed about PACE, assuming they're accepted into the program. But we're responsible for providing all the disclosures, all of the information. Property owners have questions. For example, if they're interested in paying off their financing, then they contact us. We also have a customer service department. Our company has been around since 2010, and we are, I believe we are currently the largest PACE provider in the nation, certainly among the largest.
Interesting, very interesting program.
See.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Hodge.
No, I'll move to recommend that we,
Oh, there's some speakers, Mr. Hodge.
oh, there's some speakers, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dong Yi? He's in favor of it.
He was here and he's
The clerk can say
in
that.
favor.
Is that it?
Mr. Campos, do we read the resolutions or 1, 2, or?
No, we just move staff recommendation on this item.
What do you need, Mr. Mayor?
I'll make a motion that we vote on this.
Resolution to consenting to the inclusion of the City of Calexico properties in the Golden State Finance Authority PACE programs and associate membership in the Golden State Finance Authority.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
What's your motion, Mr. Hodge?
To
What's
accept
your
both.
motion?
Excuse me?
For approval?
Yes.
Second that motion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be looking out for your loans when I do taxes now.
Where are we now, Mr. Campos?
Now we're at item number 16.
Item 16.
This is 16? Oh.
We get to the bond. Don.
Mr. Pacheco.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
Don, I'm sorry. Mayor Speaker? Yeah. Mr. Kim?
I need another.
Speaker?
My name is John Kim, and congratulations, council member. You guys successfully screwed this community, and now you have another one here. I wish you guys don't do this one. More than $75 million debt for our citizens. It's this one you can do without borrowing the money. We have money in the budget. And please don't borrow the money, don't issue the bond to create more debt. Again, that making the citizens' blood to going through to someone else. If we don't have money, it's understandable. But we have money in the budget, we have a profit coming in, we can handle all the improvements without borrowing the money. Please do not accepting this bond. They're not issuing. We can handle with the money without the debt. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment about this item really quickly?
Yes.
Just real quick, because it's so important to say before everybody's. I was discussing this with someone today, what we're doing here, and was discussing how the city of Calexico had a Measure V. How much was it, Benny, that Measure V brought to the school district? 20 million? 40 million. The school district took that out to the voters through Measure V, and it was approved. And the voters in the city of Calexico know that without money and without financing, we cannot build. Very proud of the school district because they are moving forward. They just had an election and the same members were retained, and I'm very glad for that because that group has learned how to spend their money very wisely, and the Calexico Unified School District is benefiting from that decision. And that is what we are hopeful here too. We are hopeful that it will go right and that everything's going to be according to plan. So I just want to make sure to say that comparison. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back here in Calexico. I'm Dan Masiello, Senior Vice President at Cosmont Transaction Services, or the city's financial advisor. We've been working closely with the city to develop the financing program based on the I'll be very short because we've already been through this a few times. I'm happy to entertain any questions that you may have. Basically, what now is before you is 2 authorization packages regarding approving a financing for a bond issue for the water system and a bond issue for the wastewater system. These bond issues are an integral part of the rate structure that was just passed or approved by this body a couple minutes ago. In order to implement and install the improvements that are needed, as we've discussed, and I have a list of them here if you'd like to see the detailed project list that we're going to be putting forward in the financing. The bond financing enables, just like the PACE program, to pay for improvements over time as they're used instead of paying for them upfront with cash. And as has been noted before, that the water and wastewater systems are in need of some critical infrastructure improvements. So in front of you in your packages, they're very complicated, and I apologize, but that's just the nature of the beast with these sort of transactions. But there will be 2 motions considered by 2 bodies, and I'm not sure if they're convening concurrently or Mr. Campos will direct you as to how to. They'll be separately. So basically, the city of Calexico has a public financing authority, the Calexico Financing Authority, which aids in the issuance of bonds and financing projects. It's part of the Mark Struess Bond Pooling Act. Authorizations. So each agency will basically be approving the same set of documents. And so there are resolutions for the city, there are resolutions for the agency, for the CFA, the financing authority, that will authorize the documents that are in front of you. And those documents basically are an indenture of trust, an installment purchase agreement, a preliminary official statement, a bond purchase agreement, and a continuing disclosure agreement. So I'd be happy to explain what each of those documents does if you'd like, or I'd also be happy to just stop speaking so we can move things along, whatever you prefer. Once if the council decides to move forward with these actions, that will authorize city staff to conclude the transaction, to finalize the negotiations with the bond underwriter, to hold the bond pricing, to distribute the offering documents to the public, and to basically solicit investor interest in buying the city's bond issues. I'll just go ahead and stop there and ask if there are any specific questions, or if you'd like some more information about anything in particular.
Could you just define indenture of trust?
I'd be happy
What
to.
is the definition?
The indenture of trust is basically the document where the terms of the bond issue are set out. The parties to the indenture of trust would be the city, the Calexico Financing Authority, and a trustee. And the trustee is a bank that acts on behalf of the bondholders. Instead of numerous bondholders trying to contact the city for information, they will contact the trustee, and the trustee will represent them. In that document is it sets forth the terms of the bonds. It creates the legal contract, the actual contract between the investor and the city of Calexico. It sets forth the covenants that the city will abide by, the promises it's making. We promise to pay back the bonds. We promise to pay them back in this way. The rate of interest, the amount of the maturities in any given year, when the bonds might be optionally redeemed from their purchasers, what happens in the event that there needs to be another rate increase, that sort of stuff is all laid out in this indenture. And it's there in front of you for examination. That's what the real bond issue is. The other documents that you're considering are some other agreements, but the one that would be the most public-facing would be the preliminary official statement. That is the summary of the transaction, where an investor would basically read through that to decide if this is an investment that is good for them to make. It provides information about the demographics of the city, for example, the financial condition of the systems. Basically, anything that an investor, that the bond attorneys and the disclosure attorneys would recommend that an investor needs to be told in order for that investor to be able to make an informed decision about purchasing the city's bonds. That's pretty much in a nutshell.
Nowhere near am I an expert in all this area. I'm very much a layman, so excuse part of my ignorance, but I'll make it simple. How much, if it can be made simple, how much are we bonding for?
No, that's a perfectly excellent question, council member. So there are going to be two separate bond issues, one for each utility system. They're distinct in separate systems. So the water system, as you might recall, I haven't mentioned this yet, I'm sorry, we are part of the financing is to refinance an outstanding bond from 2007 to generate savings. So the refinancing will be a little over $2.5 million, and then the new money financing will be about $16.6 million in actual loan amount. We're projecting as of right now in order to finance the projects as.
And over a period of time, how much interest will we have to pay? What will be the debt ratio?
Yeah, the current estimates for the repayment of all that debt, and they're in your resolutions, but I'm happy to point them out. The total interest will be $15 million over the life of the bonds, which will be 30 years, and that's for a borrowing of about $19.2 million.
Thank you.
That's just the water. The wastewater system, which has substantially more improvements, is about $28.1 million. And the total interest on the wastewater system on that balance would be about $22 million over the life of the bonds, which will be 30 years.
Okay. That's reasonable.
Mr. Campos, do we need to take one at a time, or?
We could, if this is the action of the city council, we could move staff recommendation, which is to approve the attached resolutions, which approve the bond-related documents that were referenced by Mr. Marcelo.
So that means we can do both?
Right now, we would take city council approval first, and then we would move to the financing authority.
Mr. Mayor, then in that case, move for item number 16 for its approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If we take a roll call on this, City Clerk.
Mayor Pacheco,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobar is absent, Councilmember Hodge,
Aye.
Councilmember Real is absent, Councilmember Hurtado.
Aye.
We have a 3-2 vote, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Campos, we take B now?
Correct. And item number
17, no?
17, it's the same documents, though in this item, we're going to be taking action on behalf of the Calexico Financing Authority. And for this one, we could move staff recommendation as well, approving the tax resolutions.
Same
Resolutions.
documents.
Correct, because the
We
first
we
one.
sit as the Finance Authority as well.
Authority now?
Correct, and as you notice in the agenda, it is agendized as the Calexico Financing Authority, correct?
See that. So is there a motion to approve the,
So moved.
If there's a public comment card, we should, yes, correct.
Interesting you didn't make a comment on 16.
Again, congratulations our the council members. You had a well done jobs for screening the city. And then now as a financial authority, well, think twice. This we can do without borrowing the money. We have money there, and you guys ignoring the money is there, money in the budget, you guys approved it. And $47 million of the debt, it cost, they're saying about less $37 million around that interest. I believe it's more than that. And we had less money, we had $74 million. This one gonna be cost around $80-some million and our debt. Of course, 30 years we're gonna pay, and you guys gonna be live in the history of the Calexico making a debt for us. Thank you. Please don't do that.
did you mean to accept a motion now to?
Correct. If there's no further comment cards at this point, we'll take a motion from City Council.
Is there any comments for number 18?
Mr.
Mr. Mayor, I motion for the approval of item 17.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Roll call?
Mayor Pacheco,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobar is absent, Councilmember Hodge,
Aye.
Councilmember Real is absent, Councilmember Hurtado.
Aye.
We have a 3-2
Yeah,
vote.
motion
Motion
passes.
Motion
passes.
passes 3-0 vote.
Approving item number 17.
Thank you. Moving to item 18 now.
Well, I just do have a question though on this Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency. Don't we have a separate board? That doesn't exist anymore? That was already,
The successor agency is the city councils. The
city
oversight
manager?
board has changed from the local
That's what I'm
oversight board to
asking.
the countywide.
oh, okay, that's
oversight
right,
board.
that's right.
So,
So
and
we
that's
now-
a great segue. This action was approved by the successor agency, this body, in June, and was brought before the countywide oversight board in September.
Alrighty.
So in terms of authorizations and resolution approvals, that's all happened. It's all been approved. The item went up to the Department of Finance in Sacramento and was reviewed, and the Department of Finance has given its approval. So the city, the successor agency is now authorized to issue bonds to refinance outstanding bonds to generate savings for not only the city of Calexico as a affected taxing entity, but also the other affected taxing entities that lose part of their general fund tax levy that gets allocated to the former redevelopment agency. What this is kind of to finalize the transaction. There are 3 documents, basically very similar to the action you just took for the water, but it's a separate issue, separate agency. The preliminary official statement, which will be the forward-facing public document, which will describe to investors the bond issue, and the characteristics associated with that investment. There's also the form of bond purchase agreement, which will be the document by which the underwriter would offer to buy the bonds from the successor agency on pricing day. And there's also a continuing disclosure agreement, which the successor agency would promise to annually update certain information related to the bonds. So investors who buy bonds in the future can have current information related to that investment down the road.
So this is going to be appearing on the ROPS?
So the current debt service for the bonds as they are outstanding already are on the ROPS. And so when the new ROPS gets filed, and I think it's due on February 1st, right? So if we can close these bonds in a timely fashion, we would put this bond issue in place of the ones we're refunding on the ROPS and thereby request less tax increment to come into the successor agency because there will be a lesser amount of debt to repay. And the money that's left in the RPTTF, the Redevelopment Property Tax Trust Fund, would be then dispersed, whatever's left over would be distributed to the various affected taxing entities, including the city. So like I said, this is just to enable the transaction to conclude for the successor agency to actually enter the bond market. And on that note, I should have mentioned when I first started, as part of this process, we've been investigating the history of the redevelopment agency and certain agreements and what they've agreed to do and not do over the course of time. I won't get too deep into the technical details, but there was an ability for the city's general fund. The city's general fund is also an affected taxing entity, meaning that part of the city's 1% tax levy is allocated away from the city services and allocated to the redevelopment agency, which is now the successor agency. The city never elected, apparently, to actually receive what's called a statutory pass-through or a tax-sharing payment. Part of that growth in property taxes that's allocated to the redevelopment agency has to be shared with some of the affected taxing entities. It was deemed that it wasn't really fair that they never get an increase in their property taxes over the entire life of an agency. The city never elected to receive its share. And we just discovered this, and your attorney has informed us that the city is still eligible to make an election to receive a tax sharing payment from the successor agency. And just some quick back of the envelope math that I did tonight, this should amount to something over $300,000 a year.
Oh, let's do it.
Directly to the general fund. So this will come before you next week, if we can get everything, resolutions all drawn up, and that will be an action to elect to receive this payment from the tax increment that's being allocated to the redevelopment agency right now. So that's just kind of an aside. That was part of this transaction. We uncovered this, and we're pretty confident that we'll be here next week to enable the city to receive a boost to the general fund, which is aside from the savings that we'll also realize, which we're estimating to be in the neighborhood of about also $200,000 in the very first year, and then that will slowly increase over time based on the way the old bonds were structured. So that will also be an infusion directly into the general fund. The city will share in that savings that's going to be generated, which are about $1 million a year, but that's shared by all the affected taxing entities. So the city and the county and the school district and
Get a share.
all get a share based on your share of the 1% tax levy. And the city gets about 27 cents on the dollar. So it's a very healthy number. So not only will the city be realizing an additional revenue from the tax sharing payment, which is separate and apart from this transaction, it will also be receiving some savings or realizing savings from the bond transaction that we're concluding right here, concluding the aspects of the transaction.
That sounds like a win-win, yeah.
I thought you'd like some good news tonight.
That's good news. Yeah.
Mr. Campos, does this this is just a regular vote, it's not a roll call?
Yeah, we would be taking a roll call, and just again, just to clarify, we are acting on
Okay.
behalf of the successor agency to the Calexico Redevelopment Agency.
As the successor agency, we want to approve of a resolution and corresponding actions of the successor agency to the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Calexico, the successor agency regarding the issuance of one or more series of subordinate tax allocation refunding bonds, the bond on a tax exempt or a taxable basis to provide for the refinancing of the following tax allocation bonds. Collectively, the refunded bonds, 2000 tax allocation bonds, which are tax exempt, 2006 refunding tax allocation bonds, also tax exempt, and 2011 tax allocation bonds, which are taxable. All those in favor, may I have a motion to approve?
I just wanted to continue with my concern.
Okay, you have a question?
The Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency is now taking on new bonds. And the bonding and what should I say, the life of the successor agency, the death of the successor agency and all that we experienced, left us with one issue that we had with the school district and the pool, where we had some,
Debt?
no, it was lack, I guess, of having some of our steps being handled. And so it just concerns me to see that this is now where we're taking on this one more time. I just want to say that it concerns me to make sure that this coming back to the city, that the redevelopment successor agency has a solid ground right now, I guess, to not allow for what happened that last time. And I know that, again, like we were saying earlier, 8 city managers in 8 years, it was kind of crazy. But I just want to make sure that this council realizes that we don't want that again. And when we talk about redevelopment successor agency, that we all learn a lot about what that is and how it came to today, because it's very meaningful for us and because it's already put us in a very difficult position that we did not handle that correctly. So I'm willing to approve this, but with those comments, because I'm not going to be here anymore. But I just want to make sure that that issue that we had, we're still suffering from that and dealing with it and trying to address it. So it's a lot of money that we share in different agencies with, like the school district, with the project of the pool, but something went wrong. And so this agency has had so much shifting. I served on the successor agency oversight committee, and also it went back and forth and all of that. So I kind of lost a little bit of information where that went to. That's why I needed to understand just a little more. But just with a word of caution that we all, even though Mr. Kim's not here, recognize what he says all the time, be careful with bonds, because it did hurt us once.
Just to be clear, there are already bonds outstanding. This will remove bonds and then replace them with a new financing that will have a lower repayment, much like refinancing a mortgage. It's not a new bond, it's a straight refinancing.
That's why I was asking if it was going to go back on the ROPS, but you do have one then that is the new money.
There's no new money in the redevelopment agency, successor agency financing. It's completely refunding.
That's what I asked you earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. Yeah, so.
So only the refinancing is in ROPS, not the new money.
The new money bonds that the city approved and the financing authority approved are for the water and wastewater systems. So now this is the successor agency, which is managing the outstanding obligations of the former redevelopment agency and just winding down its affairs.
Correct.
And so as part of that, this transaction is refinancing its already outstanding debt. There's no new debt. And mechanically, transactionally, what will happen is that the 2000 tabs, the 2006 tabs, and the 2011 tabs will go away. They'll be removed from the ROPS, and they'll be replaced with one. 2018 will probably be 2019 by the time it close, tabs issue, which will be on that ROPS.
Okay.
Roll call?
Mr. Mayor, well, I think we have to make the motion. I'll make a motion to approve item number 18 based on what you read as a subject.
Second?
Need a roll call for this one, Mr. Thomas? Roll call?
Mayor Pacheco?
Yes?
Mayor Pro Tem Escobar is absent. Councilmember Hodge?
Yes.
Councilmember Real is absent. Councilmember Hurtado?
Si. Yes.
We have a 3-2 vote. Motion passes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
You're the man.
Dan the man.
Dan the man. Dan the man.
Future agenda items.
Oh, no. Not for I, sir.
Just a reminder that tomorrow is the tree lighting.
Yes.
There you go.
Tree lighting.
Relaxing.
For the 6 of you that
And
stayed.
goodies. Okay.
No, you said that already.
Yep, alrighty. Thank you for coming. We're going to adjourn.
Future agenda items, could we have some food to go, some tacos or something? Because I'm kind of hungry. It's already late. I don't want to go